How's it going, everyone? Hope you're having a lovely day. Hopefully my audio is going well. Don't have that crack-a-lackin' we had in that one video earlier this week. For some odd reason, it didn't even show up in editing, so I wonder if it was something that happened during the rendering process. It just screwed with the audio. I don't know. Whatever. We are here, back live. It's been a couple days, hasn't it? We weren't live yesterday because, well, I had a podcast. Every single Thursday night, we have the Nintendo Prime podcast. It is streamed live, technically, but only to our $10 and up Patreon backers at patreon.com/Nintendo Prime. So we were live, just only for a handful of people. Wednesday, were we live on Wednesday? I don't even remember. Maybe we were live on Wednesday. I'm sure there's a way I could actually check that. Let me go here. We were not live on Wednesday. So, yeah, so it's been a couple days. This is probably the longest break of 2019 we've gone between live streams. But, you know, we come back with a banger because we have some awesome stuff to talk about, including lots of Metroid. Who thought that, you know, by the end of this week we would be talking about Metroid, let alone Metroid Prime, or the Prime Trilogy, or Metroid Prime, or other Metroid games in general. It's pretty crazy that that's actually our lead story for this week. Before I get into talking about that, I want to go ahead and welcome all the people that are in the chat, both on YouTube and Twitch. And then obviously apologize for not having Prime News tonight. I explained it in a community post, but I'll explain it again for those that might not have read that post yet. I want to welcome Youngsta Joey, Sonic Forces 2017, SSS Chronic, Ryan Guzman, let's see here, Mark S, Demon Rage 90, Mitch Main EXE, Edward Norton, Nintendorak Yamato, Blue Bolt, Chicken Perm, let's see here, Robert Smith is here, Ariel Lazarus, the Scottish Gamer, Hardcore Alex, Fool of a Took, Swoof is here, Nick Figures, Sanguine the Pikachu fan, and Kaya L. And then over on Twitch we have, let's see here, we have Elizabeth85 over there, one of our Twitch Prime subs, and then Nicero1940, which is really weird because it still shows my Twitch is hosting 5J even though I know we're live. I'll just refresh my Twitch there for me, and while I cleared out those two chats, I did get them shouted out. So awesome. Tonight we are doing shots for all of our super chats and donations. We will be doing shots of this Arbor Mist Pink Moscato. This is the pineapple strawberry variety. Pretty tasty. As always, actually, you know what? We'll just drop it to this because it's been a while. I do have tequila. Those are really expensive shots, so that's like $50 for me to do a shot of that just because I hate tequila. And my reaction to taking it on stream is usually pretty hilarious. So we happen to get one of those donations tonight. I'll drop a tequila in my body, or two. I don't know, however many we get. I got the shot glasses here at the ready. So, that being said, for starters, I apologize for not having any Prime News today. I know some people really have been looking forward to Prime News ever since I changed up how Prime News is represented and how it is going out. Prime News on Fridays, it takes about 4 hours to put together Prime News. There's all the news research because I'll look up topics I maybe didn't cover. There's refreshing on the topics I did cover, or if there's any updates to the topics I covered throughout the week. There's the recording session that usually takes about an hour of that time, just because there's recording the news, and then like as I'm recording it, like all of a sudden a little comedy bit will come to my mind, and then like I'll do a little sketch with it sometimes, and then the editing usually takes a couple hours, and then it's like 40 minutes from the time that it renders to getting it out to you guys. So it didn't happen today just because today was the end of the quarter for my kids, into the second quarter, and for school. And one of my children came home with a less than desirable report card. And as kids do, you discover they've been lying to you all semester. So that was a fun thing to deal with today. So I decided that my child needed me way more today than the 4 hours it takes me to do that video. So I decided to not do that video today. I could put it out tomorrow, but then that messes with my weekend schedule because I still have to edit the podcast we recorded on Thursday. I still have to get Prime Answers done. So I don't know that I'm pretty sure I'm just going to skip Prime News this week unless I somehow find a bunch of time tomorrow morning to pull it off. So I apologize for those that were looking forward to Prime News. Consider this stream a kind of replacement for it since we are going to talk about at least 3 news topics. I know Prime News itself covers like 10, but you know, whatever. We're gonna make it. We're gonna do what we need to do here. And kudos to YouTube. YouTube fixed itself, kind of. It took all week. I think that's actually the first story I briefly want to talk about. Is just YouTube. YouTube has been screwing around with my channel all week. It's been a bit interesting to watch. Let me see if I can show you guys some of the crazy stuff I've been seeing. Oops, not my head the right way. Some of the crazy stuff I've been seeing on my end on YouTube, and then we'll get into the Metroid stuff. I know a lot of people want to talk about Metroid, but let's first talk about this stuff. So this week has been a really interesting week. We started off where they didn't. YouTube was being bad. It wasn't sending out notifications. It wasn't letting my videos appear in sub feeds. This was happening with my live streams in particular. This started last weekend. And then by the time they fixed that, it happened again, starting with this top 3 indies video. This top 3 indie games from 2019, it did not appear in sub feeds for almost 2 hours. They claim they sent out stuff for it, right? They claim they sent out notifications late for it, but the problem with YouTube is if you don't get all the views in the first hour, the algorithm pushes you down. And I am really out of focus. Let me fix that there. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, it just screwed things up for me and killed this video, which sucked because that was my follow-up video to the indie highlights. It actually came shortly after the indie highlights went live. And as you'll notice, like 671, I mean, even a bad video, you know, was doing 1,000. Forget the podcast. The podcast views are always all over the place. But, like, a normal video, like 1,000 is, like, the worst I do. Except for last week's Prime News. YouTube didn't like that video for some reason. I don't know. Is it because I used the morphin thing in it? I don't know. Anyways, you can see that most of my videos are, you know, around 2K, and then that one drops to there. Thankfully, the next video I did that day had 6K, where I was wrong about Smash Bros. But then YouTube started screwing with me again. These 2 videos here only had 120 views in their first hour. Even when a video is going to underperform for me, I'm usually at 250 to 300 views in that hour. So YouTube was messing with the subs. They were messing with the notifications. They were messing with everything. People weren't... It's dumb. And then today, things appear to be fixed. We had our 3 videos today. This one came out about 2 a.m. Yeah, I couldn't sleep last night, so I got a video out that ended up doing, you know, around the normal numbers. Obviously, the Metroid Prime 4 news is performing decently, and this video is well on its way to probably having, you know, 2,000 views. So YouTube has just been screwing with me this week, and I hate when it does that, because when it does that, it also messes with my revenue. But what are you going to do? That's just part of being in the YouTube game. You just kind of got to deal. So now let's get into the stuff you guys probably actually care about. Well, actually... do you guys have any questions about YouTube kind of yanking me around this week on multiple occasions? It's really the place I see it hit the most is my pocketbooks, but it obviously affects viewership as well. We have not had a single day this week where we have had over 10,000 views, which is unusual for us when we average like 13,000 views a day in January. Today maybe we got back up to it because you see 2.63. This hits 2. This live stream might add another 1,000 if our numbers get up a little bit. So we might get to it today. That plus residual numbers from other videos, but you know. So I'm assuming most people don't really want to talk about that. I just wanted to bring it up because it's been very frustrating this week. All right, so let's get into the big news. Metroid Prime 4. For starters, Metroid Prime 4 has been moved to Retro Studios. Nintendo released a 3-minute video today detailing that the game they've been working on for the past couple years was not coming together at the quality that they personally put on the expectation level for Metroid Prime 4. So they moved it over to Retro Studios, and they said in that video that essentially means they are starting over on development of the game. That means whenever they made that decision, probably late last year, development started all over again. And then they said to not expect any updates on Metroid Prime 4 for a long time. Obviously, because it just started development. And as a game that just started development, we'll see ya in 2020 at the earliest, just to even see a glimpse of it. Probably 2021 is a better idea of when it could potentially release. Could even be as far as 2022. We don't know how long Retro Studios is going to need to put that game together. Granted, it is a studio that has made 3 Metroid Prime games before. However, some of the talent from those teams is no longer there. Some of the talent is still there. It kind of gets overblown how much talent actually left Retro Studios. They lost about 8 employees in total that I could discover that worked directly with Metroid Prime 3, but they still have like another 50 employees that worked on it there. So who knows? Who really knows the masterminds behind it if they're still there? But whatever. Metroid Prime 4 is still happening. Now it's Retro Studios. Okay. Now, what we found out later in the day is interesting. Now, this information comes from Imran Khan. Imran Khan is the senior editor, or one of Game Informer's. Actually, I have the latest Game Informer right here. One of Game Informer's senior editors. I really like Game Informer magazine a lot. Their website, it's kind of hit or miss. The stories are usually late compared to other websites because, they're a magazine outlet. They focus more on the magazine side of things because that's where they make all their money. They have that partnership with GameStop, or maybe GameStop even owns them. I don't know. And that's the whole reason I have a GameStop membership, is because I like reading Game Informer magazine. It's a nice callback to my childhood since so many gaming magazines are going out of print. It's nice to at least have one still coming, even if they don't talk about Nintendo as much as I wish they did. It's not a replacement for Nintendo Power. That's Nintendo Force magazine. If anyone actually wants a replacement for Nintendo Power, there is a media / fan created magazine out there. Arlo writes. Well, Arlo. I don't know if Arlo writes for it anymore, but he used to write for it. Emily Rogers used to write for it. A few others. So Nintendo Force magazine is pretty solid. That being said, this guy is obviously someone that's connected and someone who's in the industry. And here's some stuff he said. It's been on the screen for a little bit. I'm sure you've read it by now. It says, hearing that the big problem with Metroid Prime 4 development was Nintendo's experimental ad hoc development process. You never want to hear ad hoc development process with a major game, because ad hoc development processes usually never work for a big AAA game. But whatever, Nintendo was trying something different here. It was being made in parts in different countries. Some studios were trucking along, and it was going smoothly, while it was on fire elsewhere. Essentially suggesting that what they had going on with Metroid Prime 4 was essentially, I think they were working in partnership with Bandai Namco. I couldn't actually find confirmation it was Bandai Namco that they were working with it. I saw rumors and speculation. Couldn't find any actual statements by Nintendo that Bandai Namco was the company they were working with. But whoever they're working with clearly had the game spread out along multiple studios, and apparently it might have been Nintendo's idea to do this. And some studios were rocking, other studios were not. And when they're each making different sections of the game, and obviously part of it's really good, part of it's not, that really wasn't working well. And apparently internal thinking was that it needed to be all under one roof to right the ship. So at some point, as Nintendo's checking in on the project, they're like, you know what? Some studios are rocking it, some studios are not. It's probably better to focus this down into one place. And they probably were seriously considering some of the studios that had actually done a pretty good job with Metroid Prime 4 at that point. There were some studios that actually did what they were supposed to do, and it was high quality. It would be really cool to actually see that content come into Retro's game, if at all possible, or at least maybe have that content, a deep dive. Like Liam Robertson, I'm looking at you. Did you know gaming? We need a drop down on this development thing someday when more information is available, because I really want to see what some of this stuff was that was happening with Metroid Prime 4, both the good and the bad. Anyways, Retro Studios, at the time that Nintendo was thinking about the fact that one studio needed this, it became apparent that Retro Studios was hearing wind that the IP they created Nintendo was thinking of scrapping what they were doing and focusing it on one studio. So Retro Studios, unprovoked by Nintendo, right? Nintendo did not ask them to pitch. Retro Studios made a pitch for their involvement, and they put together a demo that Nintendo liked. So basically what that means is Retro Studios heard what was happening, and they're like, hey, don't screw around with what we created. Here's a demo. We still got the chops. Nintendo, choose us. And Nintendo took one look at that demo, and they're like, yeah, okay. Retro Studios, like, let's... I don't know why we didn't have you do it in the first place. That's probably what they were thinking. Obviously, I think Retro Studios was busy with another project at the time. And Retro Studios had a chance, by the way, to make Metroid Prime 4 way back in the day. They actually had after Donkey Kong Country Returns, they had a choice. They could either make Metroid Prime 4 or they could make the next Donkey Kong game. And Retro Studios chose the Donkey Kong game. And they never really came back to Metroid. They went on to another project that we're not even aware of. Some rumors out there that got canceled, and then it was Star Fox Racing. We don't really know. Whatever's happening, or that game could be done for all we know. I mean, it's possible Retro Studios' game is done, but the bottom line is they were working on something, and Nintendo wasn't going to bother them. So they said, look, we want to make Metroid Prime 4 because it's the most popular Metroid's ever been, is Metroid Prime. So we'll just get another studio to do it. And unfortunately, the way that they were developing the game wasn't working, and then Retro Studios is like, hey, let's be the conquering hero and take back Metroid, and show Nintendo that, hey, you want it done right, we're the people to do it. So that kind of seems to be what happened. Now, beyond all that, they also came out with some other information. If you actually go to this guy's Twitter, where he was talking about this, so he talks a little bit about the Metroid Prime trilogy. So I think the trilogy was just meant to be announced in December, not necessarily at the Game Awards. I've heard specifically it was supposed to be there, but I doubt it. So the Metroid Prime trilogy, the rumor has it that Metroid Prime trilogy is done. It's been done. It's just been sitting on a shelf at Nintendo. Metroid Prime trilogy in HD for Switch. That development's been done for a while, like half a year. And Nintendo was waiting for the right time to release it. And once they realized, like they were gonna announce it in December apparently to release it in spring or early summer of this year, basically first half of 2019. They realized they couldn't announce it in December, which by the way the Game Awards would have made a lot of sense for it. They couldn't announce it then because they knew if they announced the Metroid Prime Trilogy HD and then came back early in 2019 and had to drop this news that, hey, you're going to have to wait for 4 years for Metroid Prime 4, that would have been a very dark cloud over the Metroid Prime Trilogy. However, if you reverse the announcements, it suddenly doesn't look so bad now, does it? Yes, Nintendo probably thought there was going to be a bigger backlash to moving Metroid Prime 4 to Retro Studios and having to wait another 3 or 4 years for the game. But in turn, fans were pretty happy because we trust Retro Studios. Basically, until Retro Studios proves otherwise, we have no reason not to trust them. Everyone who wants to talk about staff being gone and all that stuff, all right, tell me, since Metroid Prime came out, what bad game Retro Studios has actually published or developed and actually released. There hasn't been a bad game. Every game they have touched from Metroid Prime on has been gold. It's been absolute gold. So until we're given a reason to think they don't have the chops anymore, there's no reason for us to think that way. And I think that's why a lot of people are excited that Retro Studios has the Metroid Prime back, and they're the ones behind this game because they did such a good job with the original trilogy. Wasn't perfect, but they did a pretty damn good job. Metroid Prime 2 in particular could have used some more time, but they were under a crunch. And what we got ended up being good. Could have been better. It is what it is. Hopefully 4 gets the attention and the money and the love it needs to do it right. That being said, the Metroid Prime trilogy, you announce that, then you announce the Metroid Prime trilogy after that in a Nintendo Direct and then have that drop soon. It just feels better. It feels like you're throwing people a bone for delaying Metroid Prime 4 instead of realizing that the Metroid Prime trilogy was probably coming all along. So it's good news and bad news. I think it's mostly good news. It's just kind of sad news that Nintendo's plan for Metroid Prime 4 didn't work out. But Retro Studios literally came out of nowhere and said, hey, here's our pitch. We know you didn't ask for one, but we're really good at making Metroid Prime. You should let us make Metroid Prime 4. And sure enough, that seems to be what happened. Now, the reason I went over to Direct Feed Games here is because he was talking about Direct Feed Games is a YouTube channel that literally like puts up direct feed footage of video games. That's hence the name, Direct Feed Games. He's also known as Nate. He's another Nate, just like me. I've talked to him a little bit on the Spawncast for the 2 episodes I've been on. Seems like a really good dude, really knowledgeable. Doesn't like to put things out there unless he is fairly certain of it. And somewhere along the lines in here, he mentions the Metroid Prime trilogy and how it's been done and how it was planned to be released in the spring. He does note here that, to be clear, the plans might have actually changed following the news of Metroid Prime 4. But as of this moment, the information I have suggests first half of 2019. That can easily change. My personal opinion is that it gets delayed to a later release window. So it might get delayed, but either way, Metroid Prime Trilogy, HD, or whatever, remastered, is a thing that exists and is done and is ready to go, and Nintendo's waiting for the appropriate time to drop it. I don't think dropping it first half of 2019 would be bad, but obviously there would still be a long gap between that and Metroid Prime 4, so whatever. What do people got going on here in the chat about this? Let me turn off the display, get this camera back on me, because I don't know, maybe you're here because of me, maybe you're not, maybe you're just here because you want to talk to fellow Nintendo fans. But let me, all right, get that going there. Let's see what the people in the chat are saying. Let's see here. I'd rather wait for Metroid Prime 4, having to play then having to play Bayonetta 3. I'm not surprised they added her to the Smash roster. Let me see here. Do you watch Did You Know Gaming? Yes, I do watch Did You Know Gaming Sonic Forces. So right now we're talking about Metroid. Any questions or anything you want to bring up about Metroid, now is the time to do it. And don't worry, that plus that's on me, that's like the manual focus. That will go away momentarily. Let's see here. And just like that little AF down in the corner, that'll go away too. That's the autofocus, and it says autofocus off because I have it on manual focus right now. Let me see here. A delayed game is better than a rushed game, so you know. And it's not even delayed, guys. Like Metroid Prime 4, the actual game that they were developing 2 years ago is not delayed. That game is done. It does not exist anymore. They rebooted development on a new Metroid Prime 4 project with Retro Studios. So it's not even a delay. It's a, hey, we tried this thing. It didn't work. So we're going back to the tried and true company that knows what the hell they're doing with Metroid Prime. So that's the way, that's how you should take the news. It's not a delay. It's basically they canceled the project and rebooted it with the studio that knows what the hell to do with Metroid Prime. So let's see here. You all waiting 2 more years in hopes of a great game? I don't know what you're talking about. I'm playing it 2 more years and what? I mean, I've been playing great games on my Switch literally in this year, 2019. Just played some Feudal Alloy. Got Wargroove coming up here. I mean, yeah, you can argue, you know, the indie games aren't as important as something like Breath of the Wild or whatever, but I play Breath of the Wild on the platform. You know, I played Odyssey. I don't know what you're talking about, man. I wait 2 years for a great game. There's great games coming this year, man. I'm not really concerned about games on Switch. There's a lot of good games. Let's see here. I don't have a Switch yet, so you're fine waiting. Nice, Hardcore Alex. I read your title as Switch not charging. What? What's my title say? Well, I don't know why you said charging. It says changing, and there's no F. I don't know why you're reading the title that way, but I guess that happens. Let's see here. Metroid Prime 4 is greater than Bayonetta every day. I mean, I expect Nintendo people to feel that way. Bayonetta is fantastic. There's no reason to crap on either game, Bayonetta or Metroid. They are both fantastic IPs that represent some of the best in their given genres. There's not really a reason to crap on them. They aren't even part of the same genre, so like, why does it matter? You know, they both sell about 2 million each usually. I mean, just let them be. Like, there's no reason to even like compare them. It's a personal preference. Do you like Metroid games or do you like, you know, Bayonetta action games? Like, they're completely different types of games. There's no reason to talk about which one's better than the other. So I know Demon Rage 90 is just tossing out there that Metroid 4 is, you know, better than Bayonetta. We haven't seen Metroid Prime 4 or Bayonetta 3 to even make that determination. So talking about which one is better when we haven't even seen the games seems pretty redundant. And 2, they're not even part of the same type of genre to even be compared. compared. So I don't even, you know, I guess they both have female protagonists. I guess that's why you're comparing them. I don't know. I think that's a silly thing to say or consider. Let's see here. Your opinion holds zero weight if you don't even have the console, said JM earlier. I mean, I don't agree with that. People's opinions, the relevancy of someone's opinion shouldn't depend on what games they own or what platforms they own. The relevancy of someone's opinion is basically the relevancy that anybody puts on that opinion. Now, JM in particular, you might not put relevancy on anybody's opinion. And maybe you use that stipulation. If you don't own the Switch, why do I care what you think? What if people are waiting to buy a Switch for Metroid Prime? Why should you not care about that? I mean, that's your own personal prerogative, but I don't think people's opinions should just be dismissed because they don't own a Switch. It's a really silly way to look at things, especially if this is the game that they were going to buy a Switch for. And as I always tell people, only buy a platform for the games that are already released. Never buy a platform for games that are promised. Because the promise of games get canceled, games get delayed, blah, 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 things happen. People should have learned that with Breath of the Wild on Wii U. So it's like, buy the system because you want the games that are already out, rather than talking about the games that are coming down the line. I bought a Switch because I wanted to play Breath of the Wild on the go. That's all I needed to justify my purchase. My purchase of the Nintendo Switch was justified day one for me. There could have been no other games released on the platform, and I would have been happy with my Switch purchase. But, again, not everyone's like that. Not everyone is that into Breath of the Wild that that one game makes the entire purchase worth it. So for some people, it's just Smash. For some people, it's Pokemon. Some people, it's a collection of games. Let me see here. Nintendo Prime, your camera is a little blurry tonight. Yeah, it's okay right now. It's manual focus, so I gotta tap this. Every time I move the camera, I have to tap the screen. My autofocus hasn't been working lately. My autofocus has been making the background crystal clear and making me blurry. Right now, I'm okay. I mean, the top of my hat's a little blurry, but what are you gonna do? I can't. Man, that's the problem with manual focus. Manual focus makes a square, like this, whereas autofocus will grab everything in the front or everything in the back. It doesn't really do anything like that. And it's even funkier because when I look up here on the little thing off my camera, everything's crystal clear, but that's not the way it actually presents itself in the final picture. So it's funny when you're looking at that little thing to try to determine if you're in focus or not, when really I had to look at my Streamlabs here to see if I'm in focus. I'm looking okay for the most part. And come on, Bucks, how you doing? You're down 7 points. Let's go. Let me see here. So we're still talking about Metroid. Got lots of stuff going on here. I'm just trying to find out where I left off. I'm trying to read the whole chat, so I'm a little bit behind on some things people are saying. Let me check over on Twitter. Nickel52003 is over there, and he goes, YouTube? I mean, I guess that's a thing. Oh, we did get a new, we did get a new sub for this month over on Twitch. We got Elizabeth85. She subbed, so that will get us our first shot of the night, actually. Remember, all donations and super chats, or if you hit the join button to become a member, I would love to hit 20 members by the end of the month. Wouldn't that be sweet? I think we're at 12 right now. We unlock more emojis when you do that, and it's just a nice way to support the channel. Obviously, Patreon as well. All that stuff. We also have a Discord server. If one of our mods is around and wants to plug an invite to the public chat on our Discord server, we now have a public chat available for people to basically chat with other fans and then get notifications on all our videos. Since YouTube notifications don't always work and I've been screwed this week, I decided to make one public chat on our server. We have voice chats and other things on the server, but all of that's for patrons. So that's all exclusive to patrons if you want all of those chats. And if you want to guarantee I'm going to respond to you, becoming a patron is the best way to do that, because I don't always respond to everyone in the public chat just because I have too much going on in my life to do that. And definitely if you DM me and you're not a patron, a YouTube member, or a Twitch sponsor, I probably won't respond because I prioritize the way I respond in DMs to the people who are the backers. Unfortunately, you'll have to wait for a live stream like this to get me to guarantee to respond to you. All right. Let me pour one out for that new Twitch Prime sub. Cheers. Yeah, Twitch sent you a notification, but YouTube didn't. Pretty common. It's pretty common, way more common than it should be. For a fun thing, I'm watching the Milwaukee Bucks game on my Switch. Thanks, Hulu. Hulu has live TV now, so I'm watching the Bucks through that. Let's see here. Until my Switch dies, it'll die eventually because it was only at 40% battery. Let me see here. Bayonetta is not your cup of soda. I guess if you don't like tea, I suppose you can say cup of soda. Let's see here. Scrolling down. Joe Schmo said the Metroid Prime 4 announcement seems a direct-worthy announcement. With this and the Yoshi trailer, do you think the big when do you think the big major direct will be? The Metroid Prime 4 stuff to me is not direct-worthy. If you remember, they delayed the Zelda game in the same way. They didn't do it in a direct. Whenever it's negative news like this, they do not like putting negative news in a direct. Because it kind of casts a shadow over it. And as much as some people are actually taking this as positive news for Metroid Prime 4, reality is that Nintendo, especially with the comments disabled, thought there was going to be a negative backlash to Metroid Prime 4's delay. So, that's not something they would actually put in a direct. In fact, that is something you would get out of the way before a direct. That way people don't have that expectation heading into the direct. You don't hear about it, then right after the direct you get that disappointing news, and it just makes things worse. This is the kind of stuff you release before a direct. They did the same thing with Breath of the Wild back when it was called Zelda for Wii U. They announced its delay before a direct as well. So if nothing else, this actually makes it kind of likely we're getting a direct sometime in the next 2 weeks, in my opinion. But I think it's going to be early February. Some people think it's going to happen before the investors meeting next week, but I got a feeling it's not going to drop until sometime in February, especially since I don't know that they have any big games coming in February. So instead of having a big release in February, they'll have the direct, which will hype you up for future releases. At least that's what I think the current plan is, but I don't really have any proof or any evidence or any rumors. It's just me using my brain to think, man, if I was Nintendo, when would I drop one now? Well, I might wait till after the January 31st investors stuff for the quarter and then drop it, that next week or something like that. Let me see here. You just want to see what Pokemon's been up to? We won't hear about that till summer. Unless we're talking about Detective Pikachu. But we're not going to hear about that until summer. What's the next Switch game you're playing? I don't know. I'm working on my back catalog. So once I'm finally done with this Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee review, it's still happening. It'll be Octopath Traveler, finishing that off, and then we'll see what happens after that. Let's see here. When will they release Super Metroid for Retro Console? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Didn't they just do that with the SNES Classic? Do you mean for the Nintendo Switch Online service? I mean, we got to wait for SNES games to launch before we can talk about Super Metroid for that. Do you think we'll get a 2D Metroid on Switch? I do, actually. I think whatever team worked on the Metroid Samus Returns game has ever since then been working on an HD Switch 2D. I actually think that was a training session for that team to make a side-scrolling Metroid game. One thing that the senior editor from Game Informer mentioned is there's multiple Metroid projects in the work that would fit the bill if they're working on a side-scrolling, more traditional Metroid game, like a Metroid 5 or something that I know some people would like to see. Let's see here. Scrolling down. Good evening from Canada. Welcome, T. Hodgins. It's being delayed for the best reason. I'm okay with semi-disappointing news about Metroid Prime 4. This comes from Illumi Donkey. He says, this will give new players a chance to catch up on previous Prime games, so hype for this will be fire. Yeah, especially if the trilogy does come and that whole thing's legit. Quantum says the new camera looks really good. Thank you. It is a Lumix G7. I've been using it since just before E3 of last year. I love it. And I've been using it for live streams since, I don't know, the second to last week of December when at Advanced Media Network on Twitter sent me a AverMedia 4K capture card for my computer. I've been using it ever since because this is a 4K camera. I'm not currently using it at 4K. I'm using it at 1080p 60 FPS. But yeah, looks really super crisp on live streams, especially when I get the focus right. When the focus is off, then it doesn't look so good. But that's true with any camera. So let's see here. Higher chance of a trilogy this year with no Metroid 4, says Focus on Me. I don't think the trilogy is... If anything, I think the trilogy could be delayed. I don't know that it's going to do much. I think the trilogy was supposed to come this year, and now with the delay, they might wait till next year, but who knows? Nobody really knows because there's been no new information on the back end about Metroid Prime trilogy. Germaphobe wants to know, when are you going to accept Switch friend requests from the patrons, Twitch and YouTube members? I subscribed on Twitch and got the Discord just to add you because you said you would friend us. Yes, that is a perk of becoming a member of Patreon or hitting that join button on YouTube or a Twitch sub. Yes, yes. That is one of the perks. You get to go to our Discord server where we have for those members, there's a special friend code sharing channel, and in there my friend code is pinned, and everyone can add me through that. I will be doing that the next time I actually decide to play a multiplayer game on my Switch, basically. I don't go to my friends list nonstop. I know, Germaphobe, you're worried about it. I know you're pending friend request. It's in there. Don't worry about it. It's on my Switch. I haven't accepted anyone's yet. It's just something that I accept usually before I'm about to play some multiplayer games, because that's obviously the chance you get to play with me then, is when I'm playing multiplayer games, whether on stream or off. So don't worry. Your friend request will be accepted. Got to remember, I'm a parent of 3. I'm not constantly playing my Switch all the time. I just put up my friend code, a day or two ago. I don't think I've played a game on my Switch in the past couple days because it's been busy. Life of a parent is very busy. I didn't even get Prime News out today because of parenthood stuff. So relax. Like me actually watching Hulu on my Switch is the first thing I've done on my Switch in like 4 days, besides delete friends off my friends list. So let me see here. Thunder Prime, what do you think is the order these games come out? Metroid Prime 4, Final Fantasy VII Remake, and Halo Legends. Is Halo Legends even still a thing? I mean, I guess it is. Halo Legends probably comes first. I think it's going to be an early next Xbox game. And I think that's going to come out in the next like 2 to 2.5 years. I think Metroid Prime 4 will come out after that, and I think the Final Fantasy VII Remake is going to be delayed for like another 6 years. Why? Because every time they announce it or every time they talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake, it goes away, and then we hear it's in development hell. Then we hear it's switching developers. Then we hear they scrapped everything and they're rebooting it. Then we hear it's going to be chapter-based. Then they're like, oh, maybe we won't do chapter-based. Let's scrap that idea and go do something else. I don't think Square Enix has any idea what they're doing with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't know how hard it is to remake a game that basically could just have all the textures replaced and brought up into HD and be fine. But they don't want to do that because they know how special that game is. Like, Ocarina of Time in HD wouldn't be that big a deal. If they just redid all the textures and made it look like Breath of the Wild or something like that and released it in HD and it was the exact same game, no one would care. It would sell like gangbusters and do just fine. But for some reason with Final Fantasy VII, they want to like go over the top and well beyond anything they need to do with it. And because of it, they keep failing at delivering on what their ambition is for it. So I don't know what's going on at Square. That's the game I trust the least to even come out at all. If anything, Final Fantasy VII Remake will be canceled, or it'll never be canceled officially. But we might never hear of that game again. It's just one of those things. It feels like Kingdom Hearts 3. Like it's gonna be a decade before we hear about it again. Harger Alex really wants to buy a Switch, but he's broke. Hey, dude, I get you. I get you on that one. Hey, maybe you'll end up winning our Nintendo Switch Super Smash Bros. Ultimate giveaway. Who knows? Gleam.io link down in the description. Psychow Mantis has thoughts on Prime 4 potentially ending up as a next system early, possibly launch title. I think it's possible. I think it depends on what the next system is going to be. I have a feeling that family of systems mentioned by Shintaro Furukawa and Kimishima in regards to Switch in the past means that the next generation of a Nintendo platform is going to be another Switch. It's going to be kind of like the 3DS to the DS. And the 3DS was fully backwards compatible with the DS. I think that's going to be the case here, and thus it's going to be a cross-gen game like Breath of the Wild. So I think it's going to end up being cross-gen. It's going to launch on the new platform, but still be on this Switch, and it won't really matter because it'll be the same cartridge that just works on both platforms. It won't really be like this thing where people have to buy like 2 different versions of the game. It's just going to be something that just works on both platforms, and it'll just happen to release at launch of the new generation platform that you don't even need to buy to play it. Let's see here. We had a $1 super chat that I missed. How did I miss a super chat? Oh, because I had the sound muted on my computer. Eric Bryant hit us with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, Eric Bryant. You kind of broke the seal on the super chats. Thank you so much, man. Cheers. I appreciate the support. Your guys' support is what's getting me through this week with YouTube kind of screwing me on my views. So, what are you going to do? Right? You got to play the YouTube game. Cheers. All right. Let's see here. Scrolling on down. What's your Twitch name, and also how often do you stream on Twitch? My Twitch name is Nintendo Prime TV. And I basically, if you see me streaming on YouTube, I'm also streaming on Twitch. They're literally the same stream. But obviously most of my viewership's on YouTube because I'm a YouTuber. Let me see here. What's my poison tonight? I already said it before. It's Arbor Mist, a pink Moscato, pineapple strawberry, and then I have some tequila. You guys know I got the tequila silver. Just waiting up there if we end up getting a 50 spot tonight. I'll bust out that. It's been a while since we've had a 50 spot. That's why I'm dropping it. Usually it's $100 for that shop, but we'll be dropping it down to 50. Just, I don't know. Just because I don't think anyone's going to do it anyways. So it just seems more attainable than it really is. Hey! Quantum hits me with a $2 super chat. He says Eric Bryant or Eric broke the seal, baby. I'll have to tell that to Eric Moore, my partner in crime on the Nintendo Prime podcast. Let him know an Eric broke the seal. Oh man, cheers, dude. All right. Scrolling down here. The Wii Shop is closing down forever next week. Yep. But we're talking about Metroid right now. Given the rumors that it's done, do you think Nintendo will release the trilogy early to ease the blow of the Metroid Prime 4 being restarted? I don't know, Mark S. The rumors have it they were releasing it early anyway, so it wouldn't even be because of it. It would be because that's when they planned to release it in the first place. So I don't know. Hit the like button. Over half watching can thumb up. I mean, yeah, if you guys want to hit the like button on the stream, you can. I'm never going to make you do that, but if you would like to, the more people that like it, I think the more notifications it sends out. I don't know, maybe. I'm not really sure how YouTube works. I don't even know that YouTube professionals really truly understand how YouTube works. I think we're all just taking shots in the dark to figure it out. Let's see here. That poor guy who had to make the Metroid delay announcement. I felt so bad for him. I was afraid he was going to fall on his sword. Dude, you could tell, like, that guy that was making the announcement in the video, he looked... I don't know if he looked scared. I think he just looked like, I know I'm about to deliver some news that might upset some people. And like the way he worded it and described it, it's kind of like, man, they're getting really technical here. They did not want to make this announcement. This is an announcement Nintendo never wanted to make. But, you know, whatever. It went over better than the Breath of the Wild delay announcement did. So, Trivial says they probably were going to show footage of Metroid Prime 4, but they realized how much of a dumpster fire it was and canceled the direct and rebooted the development of Metroid Prime 4. That is a bunch of bull crap. They would never base a direct around one game like that, for starters. Number two, this decision would have been made last year, not this year. Number three, They knew how much of a dumpster fire it was while it was in development. They didn't wait until, oh, we need to show footage of it and then realize it. No, they knew. And 4, I don't think the game was ever planned to come out till 2020, so they weren't even going to show the game now anyways. And I don't think it had anything to do with anything early this year. That's just fans hoping and wishing that Nintendo would just give them everything they want right now. Metroid Prime 4, just like Bayonetta 3, has zero chance of being shown this early. I would love to be proven wrong, but it's 0. I mean, now we know with Metroid for sure it's 0, but same with Bayonetta. We're not seeing Bayonetta 3 anytime soon either. Do you hate it when someone comments first a million times? Says Zane Parker. Doesn't really bother me. That's the internet. I've been seeing this for 20 plus years on the internet, man. If it bothers me now, then I'm just getting annoyed over something that's trivial and doesn't matter. So, some people get proud of it. I understand, like, I kind of understand why someone gets proud of it on, like, a Linus Tech Tips video or a Spawnwave video. Like, when they instantly have thousands of views within minutes. I get it. Like, I get that it's kind of cool to realize you were the very first person to hit that comment. But, I don't know. Like, to me, it's something probably that kids are more into, like being first than actual adults caring about it. So, I don't really care. People say it. They say it. If they don't, they don't. You think we'll get Pokemon info before June? I don't think we're getting Pokemon info until June. I think it's going to happen just like last year. We got Let's Go info just before E3. We're going to get Pokemon Gen 8 info just before E3 because they're going to have the big blowout for it at E3, but it'll be announced before E3 because the Pokemon Company always announces the game outside of Nintendo's own events. Octopath has been great. Yep. Let's see here. Mercury Steam develops Samus Returns. There we go. I was wondering who it was. You think we get an HD remaster of Super Metroid on Switch? No. Nope. They're just going to release Super Metroid through the Nintendo Switch Online service. Let's see here. A bunch of people talking about Samus Returns from when I brought that up. Eric Bryan says, how you doing, man? I'm doing good. Germaphobe, thank you very much for answering the question. No problem, man. I know you've been pestering me for a couple days now about the friend code thing. I know. I should have said something on Discord, but it's been a bit hectic lately with my kiddos. So, sorry about that. Usually I do just respond on Discord, and then you wouldn't even have to ask that question in a stream. But, Splats Black Girl is here. Do you think anything can outsell the PlayStation brand? I love Switch. I would like some input and opinions, please. Have a nice day, all. Kind of an out-of-order question because we'll do a general Q&A at the end, but I'll answer it quick in case you have to head out. Do you think anything can outsell the PlayStation brand? Absolutely. Do I think Nintendo's the one that can outsell the PlayStation brand? Probably not. The PlayStation brand is very strong. Obviously, we know we outsold PlayStation 3, but on the whole, PlayStation brand is a very strong brand. It sells over 100 million units on average, period. So, Nintendo does not. So, like, in perspective, the PlayStation brand is one of the strongest brands in gaming. And right now, I don't think anything's really going to surpass it anytime soon. But I do think there'll be like I bet you there'll be a subscription service someday, like a Netflix of gaming, that'll have over 100 million subscribers to it someday. I don't know when that day might be. It might not be for a couple decades. And that might end up being bigger than anything Sony has ever done. Unless a Netflix of gaming becomes Sony, and then it's, well, okay, then I guess no one's passing Sony. But not in my lifetime. Not saying that Switch can't outsell PlayStation 4 for lifetime sales, but on the whole, Nintendo's brand is not actually as strong sales-wise as PlayStation is at the console level. Game-wise, Nintendo's games sell phenomenal, but like their hardware doesn't consistently hit the high numbers that PlayStation does. Now, someone's going to bring up the PlayStation Vita. I know, okay? We're talking about home consoles, not handhelds. Okay? Handhelds are Nintendo's, like, dominion. They dominate handhelds. Let's see here. F YouTube. Do I cuss? Once in a while, yeah. We try to keep the cussing to a minimum here at Nintendo Prime, but it is a night stream. I let it go a little bit. But yeah. And you always get ignored. You're not ignored. I'm just reading comments in order of them being asked. Am I into mech games? Nope. You say, if so, are you excited? Nope. I mean, Daemon X Machina looks good. Or Machina. I don't know. However you pronounce it. It looks good. But doesn't matter to me. Oh! We had a new patron. Robert D. Smith 4. Just hit us, I think, with a $20 patronage. Holy crud. Did we really just get a new $20 member on Patreon? No. 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 Looks like we lost a patron. Yeah, I think Robert Smith was a $60 patron who just downed himself. He was a $20 patron. No, well, I'm so confused. I don't know what Robert Smith is doing. He was a $60 patron, I think. Because we haven't lost any patrons, but we just went from $680 or $380 a month down to $316. I think Robert Smith was that $60 patron who just downed himself to the $20 level. So I don't think that's a new patron. That's just the system getting confused that someone lowered their pledge amount. It's okay, Robert. Don't feel bad that you lowered your pledge amount and now I'm down like $80. It's okay. Don't worry about it. The reason it looks like a greater drop off than what your pledge was, by the way, is because of how the percentages work with Patreon. So like because of your $60, I got a higher percentage of the revenue than I do when you dropped it back down to the $20. But it's not up to you to get us to that $400 threshold, so don't worry about it. Let's see here. He warned me. He said, just a heads up, if you see a $60 dip on Patreon, don't think you're losing a patron. I'm not going anywhere. Just my payday is on the 10th of every month. Hey, my payday is on the 15th, so I get you. It's all good, man. So there you go. I guess he was trying to warn me before it happened. He was just lowering it to a level that isn't going to kill his bank, and then he'll pop it back up on the 10th. Sounds good, man. Sorry, I got confused for a moment. I'm like, what's happening? All right, thank you. Let's see here. I missed so many comments. You guys are chatting like crazy today. All right. Ryan Lisa linked our Discord there for people who wanted to join. All right. Let's see here. Scrolling down. No, not new. Look above. Yeah, no, I got to it, Robert. I literally saw it happen right before I read your comment. So, it'll be back up to 60 on 10. It's all good. Yeah, no problem. Let's see here. All right, cool. Well, that's the Metroid stuff. It looks like people are kind of done talking about that. So let's bring up the next topic, which I forgot I already got. Let me look at what's the title of the stream? Detective Pikachu 2. Something I didn't even talk about. All right, let's go to the editor here. Let's bring up that display capture. All right, so this comes from the Hollywood Reporter, obviously a place that's good to get news about TV stuff and movies. Detective Pikachu sequel in the works with the 22 Jump Street writer. This is an exclusive to them, so they are literally the source of this information. So if this ends up not being true, we can all yell at the Hollywood Reporter. It says Detective Pikachu is starting a new case before the first one is wrapped. Legendary has begun work on a sequel to its Pokemon-based movie, hiring Oren Uziel to pen the script. The move is a sign of confidence as it comes close to 3 months before the company releases the Ryan Reynolds star on May 10th via Warner Brothers. Blah, blah, blah. Talks about where Pikachu comes from. Details on the take of the sequel were not revealed. Blah, blah, blah. And then just goes over some of the work that he's done. Sonic the Hedgehog apparently he's worked on. He's worked on Men in Black International, 22 Jump Street, The Cloverfield Paradox. And he's writing a Supergirl feature as well. So, yeah, that's they're claiming that Detective Pikachu 2 is a movie that's happening before we are even aware of it. Detective Pikachu itself looks good. Then again, the reaction to Detective Pikachu has been really positive before we even see the movie. So I think they're under the presumption that it's going to perform well. So might as well get the second one going. What do you guys think of Detective Pikachu? And Detective Pikachu 2 potentially already being a thing happening before we even know if the first one's good. Yeah, like, get talking about Detective Pikachu if you care. I think it's cool. I think Detective Pikachu looks awesome. Like, that trailer they released, man, to me, it's like the perfect trailer for Detective Pikachu. For whatever kind of movie this is, it's like the perfect crazy trailer. Ahmed A says, have you seen Bury My Love? It's a $5 game now in the eShop following the trials and tribulations of a Syrian refugee. Downloading it now. Can't wait to play it. Nice. Lots of good games on the eShop, man. So, no, I have not heard of it, but awesome. Splat Girl says, thank you for answering. Love your show. I love Splatoon. Hope we get a Splatoon 3. We're definitely getting a Splatoon 3. That's definitely happening. I don't think it's going to happen on this Switch, but maybe the next generation Switch for sure. All right, let's see here. Bum, 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 bum. I'm playing The Legend of Zelda Minish Cap. Minish Cap's a good game. Badass Pikachu. Pikachu definitely can be a badass. As shown in Detective Pikachu. Alright, now a lot of people looking like they want to talk about that topic too much. And that's okay. I mean, there really isn't much to say other than, hey, it's a thing that's probably happening that we don't really have any information on. Singwin, the Pikachu fan, says Splatoon 2 is great. Only con is they lock you out of the game you paid $60 for unless you pay for a dumb subscription. There's a shot at the Nintendo Switch Online service. I think we've done a lot of that already. A lot of shots at that. All right. So then, the last news story we're going to talk about from this past week before we get to a general Q&A, and you guys can ask any question you want, is about some stuff that Shintaro Furukawa said. It's a story reported on today. He came out and answered. He did a very short interview with a publication in Japan, and he answered a pointed question about the 20 million mark for the Nintendo Switch. One, he is not budging off the 20 million mark. He keeps admitting it's ambitious, but it definitely sounds like coming out of this investor meeting on the 31st, 20 million is still the target. They're keeping that target. Maybe that's a good sign they're going to hit the target. Maybe he's just overly ambitious. I don't know. But whatever, he at least thinks it's possible still for them to hit 20 million Nintendo Switches. He is, by the way, not a game guy. He is a number cruncher. He is a financier. He knows how important it is for these projections to be right for investors. So if he's keeping it this late in the game, that tells you Nintendo's pretty dang confident they're hitting 20 million this fiscal year. So that was one big thing. But the thing that everyone's talking about are the comments he made after the fact, where he said, one, they're not even thinking about a price cut right now, which why would they be thinking about a price cut right now coming off that December and looking at the sales so far in January with New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe? I don't know why in the hell they would even talk about a price cut right now. You never really talk about a price cut until the day you price cut. So, I mean, that's a thing. And then they mentioned how they're not even thinking about a successor to Switch. All of their efforts are put into the current Switch. And that made some people speculate, of course, that means we're not going to get a revision this year. Speculation is fun. It's cool. It's interesting. He said successor, not revision. The Nintendo 3DS XL is not a replacement of the Nintendo 3DS. The new Nintendo 3DS XL is not a successor to the 3DS. It is a revision of the 3DS. So there could still be a Switch Pro or a Switch Mini or a Switch XL this year, and it would still not be a successor, and he still wouldn't have lied about it. So bottom line is, we don't really know what this means, other than in the moment, right now, in January of 2019, they are not cutting the price, and they're not releasing a new Switch. Okay. Really doesn't mean a whole lot. It's just people, there wasn't a lot to talk about this week, okay? To be honest, as a Nintendo news channel, it was a very dry week of news. Until they dropped this Metroid stuff today, there was almost nothing to talk about all week in terms of new news that wasn't indie game related. So, what are you going to do? People just wanted a talking point, and Shintaro Furukawa kind of gave people a talking point. I talked about it. Other people talked about it. I don't really think it's a big deal. I think this is exactly what any business would say. So, but what are your guys' thoughts on it? See people just talking about Splatoon. Splatoon. Oh, man. Pikmin 4. Triple Super Boys Gaming wants Pikmin 4. We got the same kind of statement about 3DS a month before 3DS came out. It's irrelevant. Yeah, we got a statement about that. We also got a statement about the 3DS XL or whatever. They said they were not. They even said revision. Miyamoto came out and said we are not making a revision of the 3DS at this time. And then 2 weeks later, they announced a revision for the 3DS. So like, doesn't really mean much. That's just what you say in the moment to make people who are buying a system that day not feel like garbage for buying the system. Bottom line is, whenever you release a revision, no matter how good it is or how much praise it gets, there's always going to be those people that bought a system the day before it wasn't announced that feel like garbage because they feel like they just wasted their money because they're not going to have the latest and greatest. That's just the way technology goes. Like, there's going to be people who buy a PlayStation 4 Pro and an Xbox One X this year that are going to feel jaded when PlayStation 5 gets announced. Like, what? Like, technology is always moving forward. You shouldn't feel bad about your purchase. That's why he said always buy it for the games already there. Then you can't ever feel bad about it because you didn't buy it for the future. You bought it for the present. That's the way people should buy systems. But a lot of people don't do it that way. They buy it for the promise. And I don't think that's a good way to spend your money on promises because as all good game companies have proven, promises are made to be broken. Anyways, I guess we'll just move to a general Q&A. Is there anything you guys would like to talk about? Anything at all? Let's go. Let's get the conversation moving. Because right now, it feels a little dry around here. It feels very dry around here, in fact. Very dry. Time after time. In fact, my throat is getting a little parched. So let's deal with that, shall we? Oh, geez. What do I want to select? I don't even know what that is. Sure. One second. Think I got that right? Nope. I'm literally going to get this card blocked. Oh, jeez. Where's my wallet? Oh, there it is. I'm like trying to buy myself a shot, and I like forgot my card info. Figured I should have it memorized by now. I was very close. I was very close, like very, very close to getting my card info right. I hate when that happens. Boom. Boom. $5. Thank you, Nintendo Prime. Shots. Supporting myself by losing money. All right. Pizza Hut or Popeyes? Don't like Popeyes, so Pizza Hut. MLG Mountain Dew. Oh man, MLG Mountain Dew. Let's see here. I just want a huge software update that adds so many features. Sure, a lot of people want that. Regardless of other Metroid would translate better to 3D as a third person. Metroid would translate better to 3D as a third person. Maybe? I don't know. Like, it works so well as a first-person game. It's hard for me to think about it in that way. James says, so 7.0.0 got data mined. What do you think it'll have? New languages and a bunch of stuff we'll never be able to predict. That's about all I can say. Like, we're never right about this stuff. So, that's all I can really say. It'll have new language support. Security updates, stability updates. Everything else is just a shot in the dark. Javi89 says, my Joy-Cons are worn out a bit. Should I cover it with a 3M skin or change the plastic altogether? Like a smoke gray. Well, for starters, whatever you want to do. If you are going to skin your Joy-Cons, I would suggest going with D-Brand. They are just super, super reliable, and they have a great feel. I can vouch for that. If you are, and no, I'm not sponsored by them. I wish I was. If you want to just replace the shell, go for it. Whatever you want to do. It's obviously a lot harder to do a shell replacement, but if you're confident in yourself, go for it. I don't think replacing shells on Joy-Cons is as hard as people make it out to be, but I think there's some people who aren't as technologically advanced as me who have taken a lot of electronics apart, that for them it's a bit more difficult. For me, it's like as long as you don't rip a ribbon cable, it's really not that hard. The big thing is the first time you do it, either watch a video or take lots of pictures so you remember how it goes back together and you remember what screws go where. That's usually the biggest thing is people getting the screws in the wrong place. And you got to remember there is the switch a little metal, or I'm sorry, for me it's metal. For you guys it's plastic. A little plastic nub that locks your Joy-Con in place. That is spring-loaded, and you'll find that out when you do the shell exchange. That part's probably the trickiest part to put back together. And as long as you pay attention, it's really not that bad. I think I used like a tip of a key. I think it was even this key right here, the tip of a key to like hold the spring in as I was reloading it. So really wasn't too bad. Let's see here. Excuse me. I don't like Pizza Hut either. Domino's is the best. Domino's is amazing. I kind of want to order some Domino's. I know I shouldn't, though. But, man, I could go for some Domino's right now. I love Domino's pizza. Their Brooklyn-style pizza, I could eat like a whole one of those. It's probably why I won't order one, because I know I'll eat the whole thing, and there goes like 3,000 calories. I wish ARMS was still getting updates, even minor ones. I think a lot of people wish ARMS was still getting updates. ARMS is still doing like those, it's not a Splatfest, but it's their version of a Splatfest kind of thing. So, I mean, they're still supporting it at least. There's, no more new content. Who's your main in the Mortal Kombat series, and who's your main in Smash right now? I don't play the Mortal Kombat series because I don't like fighting games. My main in Smash right now is Link. Just normal base Link. Let me tell you a bad joke about the bullseyes in Super Smash, in Smash 64. They're named Bully because they have horns like a bull. And oh my jeez, you're right. That's a bad joke. Can't believe I even read that. I would play with Joy-Con split. I only play with Joy-Con split. Nice. Are you talking about for ARMS? So some people really like the split Joy-Cons in ARMS. I think they're a bit more accurate, to be honest, than just the twin stick style. But you love Domino's personally. My dad was a supervisor of like 8 different stores for most of my childhood, so I got to eat a lot of Domino's growing up. But I was like a 4-sport athlete, so those calories were basically gone before I even ate the pizza. My metabolism was crazy. I would rate ARMS higher if I didn't love it so much. I don't care about story in fighting games, but I want story for ARMS. Nice. Hey, Clinton Saint CYR hits us with $1 Canadian. All right. $1 Canadian. Let's get those shots a-flowing. Thank you so much, Clayton Saint. I appreciate the support, even though that translates out to like 70 cents US or something like that. Still 70 more cents than I had before you gave that money. So, I wanted to send more, buddy. This is my first super chat ever. Wow. Well, hey, congrats. Like, seriously, thank you for the support. I do appreciate every dollar, every cent. It all counts. We literally sometimes just get literally pennies on Twitch when people give bits. So, I really appreciate all of it. You guys are a big reason I'm able to do what I do. Both the support on Patreon, which has just been overwhelming, and I hope continues to grow. And then the support through all these super chats and donations we get. We don't have a lot of them tonight, but we have some. And I'm not just talking about my $5, even though my $5 makes up a lot of it. Just in general, I appreciate every dollar, every penny. It's awesome. In addition to my $5, we've made $3.76 tonight. Like, that's $3.76 more than I had an hour and 18 minutes ago. And it's $3.76 more than I would have made if I wasn't streaming at all. So thank you so much for that support. It's awesome. Let me see here. They should make legs for the Switch. So people, I remember that joke. People are saying, oh, what's the sequel to ARMS? Is it legs? Let's see here. We need Jumbo Cons. Split Joy-Con is best always. Do you remember the Bit Wars? Sure do. The future of AI-driven 3D graphics will be used to deliver stylized games indistinguishable for paintings in real time. Someone's been watching technology news blogs, haven't you? Or watching some videos on YouTube, haven't you? There's that one particular video about the guy going over AI-created art pieces and how it's indistinguishable from actual ones. I get fooled 39% or whatever of actual art experts. Someone's been paying a little attention to what's going on in the tech world. The 7.0 update probably just made homebrewers want to stay on version 6. I mean, that always happens for a while. I'll be hitting you up with more of them in the future. Well, thanks, Clayton, man. I appreciate it, man. Every dollar, every cent, it all counts, man. Canadian, some rubles. It doesn't really matter what currency it is. It all gets converted, so thank you so much. Let's see here. I agree. No Fallout 76, man. My brother was pissed at that game. Jeez. Germaphobe says, would you mod Joy-Cons if I bought everything and paid a fee to do it? I really want a jungle green set and an atomic purple set. Hey, that's a business idea to promote the channel. Tell you what, if you want to pay for the Joy-Cons, send them. Well, you got to pay for the Joy-Cons. You got to pay for the whatchamacallit, the shells. And then you want to pay me, so you got to pay for shipping and handling, of course. And then you want to pay me on top of all that to actually, reshell them for you. Take off the old shells, put the new shells on, and then obviously send the old shells and the new shell Joy-Cons back to you. Sure thing, no problem. I can do that. I don't know what my fee would be though. That's something we'll have to discuss because that is something I do for people locally. It's not something I've ever done for anyone online. So, if you would like to do that, you'll have to let me know what that's worth to you to have me do that. What I can say is if I break your Joy-Con in the process, I'll swap it out for one of my own to reskin it. But I've already reshelled like 8 different pairs of Joy-Cons, and it's not too bad. It's really not that bad. Once you've done it once, it's really not that bad. It's the ribbon cables. You just got to be careful of the ribbon cables. Let's see here. And there's some things you don't even have to take off because once you get it all unscrewed, like you can kind of pull. Anyways, you don't have to worry about that if I'm doing it. Let's see here. No Fallout 76, man. My brother was pissed at the game. Let me see. Wow. When was Nintendo founded? Off the top of my head, I don't know, but it was a long time ago. Over 100 years ago. It was back in the 1800s. 1889. September 3rd, 1889. So it was found in Kyoto, in the Kyoto Prefecture in Japan. Nintendo. September 23rd, 1889. And they were a playing card company back then. That I did know. I didn't even have to look that up. I knew they were a playing card company. So. Let's see here. Absolutely, I will buy everything. I don't trust myself to do it. Well, yeah, you'd have to buy the Joy-Cons. You'd have to buy the shell casings, which they're actually not that expensive. Like, I have a pair of white ones back there. I've actually been debating on reshelling these since I've been keeping these on there because this is like close to Nintendo Prime Blue, the neon blue. But my kids kind of chewed them up, so I've been debating on like taking them apart and reshelling them because I already have replacement white shells back there. So I thought about doing that because it also matches the back. But then my son had to go ahead and lose the kickstand. So I'm going to have to redo the back plate on here. So I don't know. I got some work to do on the Switch. Although I think I'm getting a new Switch this year, even if they don't release one. Because I'm going to buy one and give my son this one and do a system transfer. So I'm not really that worried if this is a little scuffed up, I guess, because it won't be mine for the rest of this year. So he'll get these Joy-Cons with it too. So because he's the one that did all the damage, so he could have his damaged Switch. It still works just fine. Obviously, I wouldn't give it to him if it was broken. I saw a nutritionist the other day, Nintendo Prime. Nice. Or technically, you didn't say nutritionist. You said nutritionist. I assume you meant nutritionist, and you just forgot the R. I will pay within reason, like $25 each Joy-Con, so $100 for both sets. Sure, $100, reshell 4 of them. Yeah, I'll probably make a video out of it too if you'll allow me, just because I don't think I've made a reshelling Joy-Con video yet. I've done one about replacing the little plastic nubs in them, but I haven't done one about reshelling the whole Joy-Con. So I guess that could be a video. I have all the tools for it, so That's another thing. Most people don't have the tools because you have to have a tri-wing screwdriver, and those are non-standard and they're hard to find at like a hardware store. You got to kind of order them special online. And I have an entire kit to take. I have a kit that could take apart the entire Nintendo Switch. Not that I've ever had to do that, but I could if I wanted to. So if the screen breaks, I could replace the screen or whatever else. Eric Wolf hits us with $3.75. That's a very specific, very specific type of super chat. $3.75. I don't even know how the hell you did that. How did you do $3.75? It won't even let me select that. Even on mobile, it only gives me an option of like, you know, $1.99, $2.99, $3.99, $4.99, $5.99, and you hit us with $3.75. It's like you broke YouTube or something, Eric Wolf. It's okay, man. Thank you so much. Cheers. Take that shot, bumping the numbers. Thank you so much. I appreciate that support, man. Your first super chat. Cheers. All of it goes to support what I do. And I always say, hey, if you're on the super chat and everything, why not check out our Patreon? It's just $1 a month, and you get access to the Discord server. You get to be part of an exclusive Google Hangout Q&A session in February. So lots of good stuff to really sink your teeth into through that. And there's other tiers. There's a $5 tier, $10 tier. Every tier you go up on Patreon gets you extra benefits and extra perks at the channel. So, and if you hit that join button on YouTube and you become a member, you get to use all of these little special Nintendo Prime exclusive emojis. So all these. And we'll be adding one more. We opened up a new slot. And if we hit 20, we open up another slot. So we got a couple more emojis coming to you guys here over the next month or so. Mine only let you do 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I know. I don't know how the hell you did 375. That's so cool. I don't know how he did it, but it's awesome. $3.75. We'll take it. And it's USD too, so it's not like a weird. It's not like it was converted from like some other currency, right? Like it says USD on the super chat. It's so weird. Oh, fun fact, you know how Google did those changes to super chats? Like if people say inappropriate things in super chats, Google just takes the money. I discovered during there was a stream like I don't know 7 days ago where we made like $40 in super chats. Apparently, I actually made $55 in super chats, but $15 of the super chats were jacked by YouTube, and I never saw them. Because of someone was saying some inappropriate things. I mean, I think it's stupid. Like, fine, don't show the message, but give me the money. Like, you taking the money is not going to teach that guy anything. But whatever. Just don't say inappropriate things in your super chats, guys. Not that hard. Shouldn't say inappropriate things anyways, to be honest, but not on my channel anyways. Let me see here. Could you share the page? What page? Oh, the Patreon. Yeah. Yeah, I can share the Patreon. Give me a second here. I actually have it open. I just don't have my page open. I had my back end open. Not sending you a link to the back end, although it won't work anyways. Here, I'll put it up on Twitch for those watching on Twitch. We got like 1 or 2 people watching on Twitch, and then I'll throw it up here on YouTube as well. Yeah, the Patreon's awesome. The Patreon takes the least amount of money out of all the money I get and gives it to me in one lump check once a month. And it's just a great way to support us. We have stretch goals on there. If we hit our $400 stretch goal, there's actually a piece of content, a new piece of content that'll come out weekly. This week I still have to do an op-ed editorial. That's going to be coming out tomorrow. So there'll be Prime Answers and an op-ed editorial landing tomorrow. So let's see here. What consoles do I have? Well, I have the Nintendo Switch, which hopefully I don't get copyright claim for this. I'm showing the Milwaukee Bucks game for a second. Got the Nintendo Switch. If you can't tell in the background, there's an Xbox One X box. That's what this black box is that's blurred out. Up here is a PlayStation 3. This is the OG 60GB model that lets you play PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games. So technically, I have a system to play 3 generations of PlayStation games. Do not currently own a PlayStation 4, however. So that is the extent. Oh, sorry. Right there, if you see that, that is a blue DS. And yes, I don't have a charge cable for it anymore, but I tested it a couple weeks ago. The DS still works. I do have a new Nintendo 3DS, not the XL, the one with the exchangeable faceplates, at my parents' house somewhere too. But my main 3DS, I sold my capture card 3DS about a year ago, and that was my primary 3DS. So I don't really play 3DS anymore. Let's see here. If I were to send you an eShop credit with the intent of you buying a particular game, would you make a video about the game, not a review, just a vid? No. Sorry. I wanted to say yes. I really did. Like, hey, someone's buying you a game. Why wouldn't you make a video about the game? Because I can't base the videos I make based on people giving me money to make a video. I mean, you're not paying me for the video, right? You're just paying for the game. But, like, I can't, like, no. I just can't operate that way. It goes kind of against my morals a little bit where I will cover a game because somebody buys me the game. I mean, that's just like saying because an indie sent me a review code of a game, I should make a video on that game. Or because Nintendo sends me a code of a game, I should make a video. Because a fan randomly sends me a game in for Nate's stuff, I should make a video. Like, I can't base my content production on such a thing. I do appreciate when people do buy me games or do send me things to my P.O. box, but I can't guarantee making content that way. I have to make the content I'm passionate about. I can't do it because someone bought me something. We had a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Jason under 06. Been a while since I've seen your name in the super chats. Thank you so much. I know you have super chatted before in the past. So, do you believe that there will be a Nintendo Direct next week or in February? February. I think it's gonna be February. Eric thinks it's landing next week. By the way, if you catch the next episode of the Nintendo Prime podcast, which the audio version lands on Sunday for patrons, otherwise it'll land publicly on YouTube here on Monday. You'll see that Eric, we actually covered this. Eric thinks it's landing next week. I think it's landing a little way later next week. I think it's landing like 1 or 2 weeks into February. So, cheers. Do we have a new stream boss too? No, we almost have a new stream boss. Thomas Maynor is holding on for dear life with like 419 health. Probably one more super chat's going to knock him out. Or one more donation. We have a donation link as well. Hey, John Early, I think, just pledged on Patreon. Hold on, dude. I got to make sure that's actually a new pledge and it's not someone changed. That's the funny thing. Like, it'll give me the notification, oh, somebody pledged on Patreon, but I don't know if they actually did. I actually have to check Patreon. Okay. Let's see here. Let's go to the front. That was not a new pledge on Patreon. See, that's why I have to check. So it says John Early pledged $10 on Patreon, but I think he was a prior patron that just changed his pledge level or something like that. So, or tried to repledge for some reason. It doesn't really work that way. So I appreciate that you're already a $10 backer, and you just reminded me that you're a $10 backer. Thank you so much, John. Let me see. Yeah, the only way it'll show anything different on is if you up your pledge. Yeah, John, like you have to up your pledge. The only way that it'll let you do that, what you're trying to do. If you leave it at $10, it's not. It'll tell me like on Streamlabs that you're a new patron, but I know you're not actually new. I know, like, because I actually read your name off during a podcast earlier this month. That's why I'm like, I'm pretty sure you were already a patron at $10. So like if you up it this Friday when you get paid, say like 10 to 15 to 20 or something like that, that's when it'll show. And then I would have done a shot or something for you there. But I do appreciate your support though this month because you've already supported this month, so I really appreciate you. The new charges are like a week from now. They happen on the 1st. They happen on week. So next week Friday is when you will be charged again for Patreon. So if you want to up it on that day, if you wanted to up it, that's fine. Otherwise, it'll just charge you $10 that day at some point. Unless it's not there, then they'll charge you the next day because they give you like a 3-day window to figure out if you're going to be able to pay that $10 you already pledged. All right, what do we got here? YouTube, don't copyright this and ruin the party, please. No, it's all right. YouTube, I'm pretty good about copyright strikes. I had one strike on my channel and it got rescinded, so pretty good about not having copyright strikes. Thankfully, my channel is super clean in that way. And while I allow some swearing, it's only within reason, and I make sure it's never towards anyone. And YouTube's pretty lenient about that as well now. So, YouTube, I'm pretty much in the good graces of YouTube when it comes to revenue in terms of copyright stuff. What I'm not in the good graces of right now is their algorithm. Their algorithm is hating on my channel hard this past week, but what are you going to do? You know, YouTube ebbs and flows. Every now and then it's going way, way up. And then other times it's going way, way down. We're in a downswing right now. So we'll see when it starts to upswing again. And what helps with the ebbs and flows is our Patreon and our Super Chats. All that stuff is what makes the ebbs and flows not hurt me so much when I'm so reliant on this paycheck-to-paycheck mentality that you have with YouTube. Let's see here. Metroid Prime Trilogy getting announced in a direct next week. That's possible. Law 34 says, have you seen the teaser for that new Splatoon concert? Hologram Pearl in a Tupac outfit is a hilarious twist of fate. I have. It's funny. If you guys haven't turned up, just look up, I think it's Splatoon concert teaser. If you just type that into YouTube, you should be able to find a video for it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I hope we get a Metroid trilogy before April because Dragon's Dogma Switch is April 23rd. Oh my god, so hyped for that one on the go. Yeah, I haven't played Dragon's Dogma, but I've heard a lot of good things. That is one that I might pick up. Someone's challenging me to spell Atakatumbo. I mean, sure. I'm probably still screwing this up. I think I still screwed it up. And no, I didn't look it up. I just have his jersey hanging on my wall. Saw me looking backwards. I literally have his jersey hanging back there, but I'm pretty sure I still screwed it up. It's pretty close. I know there's... Let me see. It's Ant Te To Kun. Oh, yeah, I actually got it right. No capital K, though. It's no capital K. I probably would have got it wrong if I didn't look at the jersey. You see, my jersey was like kind of wrinkled a bit, like there around the name, so I couldn't really read every letter. So I'm like, yeah, I think this sounds right. I didn't look it up. I have his jersey back there, so looking it up. No, that's not looking it up. That's looking at his name. Looking it up means I went out of my way to actually look up Giannis Antetokounmpo, how to spell Giannis Antetokounmpo. All I did was look at something that has his name on it that I already have. But yeah, I know it. I'm just trying to get off on a technicality. I totally looked at his name. And the Bucks are, man, they're down big in the third quarter. Charlotte's given the Bucks some trouble this year. No, don't make that 3. Oh, my God. We're already down 14. We're going to be down 17. Let me see here. I want to see you talk about Super Mario Bros. 1993 and the animated movie coming from Illumination Entertainment. So you want me to talk about the real life Mario Brothers movie, and then you want me to talk about the animated one? Well, I can't really talk much about the animated one. I like Illumination, so I think they're going to do a good job. I'm someone who likes the Minions and all that stuff, so obviously I like Up. I like a lot of things, so like I really am not worried about it. I think it's going to be a pretty good movie. In terms of the one from 1993, I loved it when I was a kid, and I still love it now. It's completely different. It's completely unique from any Mario experience I've ever had. It doesn't really feel like it takes itself that seriously, which really helps with the comedy. And I was laughing the entire time I watched that movie, and I still laugh the entire time I watch that movie. I know it's widely considered a bad movie, but it's like one of those bad movies that makes me laugh the whole time. So to me, it's good. Like, that's all I care about. Like, I took it as a comedy the whole time, and I still take it as a comedy today. It's awesome. Mark Greenberg chimes in. He says, I'm so excited for Kingdom Hearts 3, but I know also really annoyed because I have an incredibly powerful computer I can't even play the game on. Oh, it's not coming out on PC, is it? Right? I have an Xbox One X, so if I get it, it's going to look awesome. But yeah, I don't think it's coming out on PC. Yeah, it's only Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Man. that does suck, Mark. I have an Xbox One X, so if and when I do play it, probably when I play it later this year, it's going to be pretty cool. I'm still working on Red Dead Redemption 2 on my Xbox One X right now. So whenever I'm satisfied with that game, I don't know if I'll ever beat it, but whenever I'm satisfied, that's when I'll move on to Kingdom Hearts. I always thought it was Anakatumbo. It's Antakatumbo. Something like that. I'm pretty sure like that's the exact pronunciation that he tells people in interviews anyways. I don't know. I said it to him in person once, and he didn't correct me, so I must have been pretty close. Or he just doesn't care because he knows everybody butchers it. That's why people just call him the Greek Freak, or they just call him Giannis, because it's so much easier to say. and in the U.S. Why are you not playing Resident Evil 2? Again, it's a game I already played when I was younger. Don't really have an interest in playing it again. So they remastered it. Great. Cool. I've already played and beaten it a bunch of times. Okay, now it looks prettier. Yeah, I'm good. I don't need to play a prettier version of a game I've already played that I'm not super passionate about. I'm not a huge Resident Evil guy. I like the games. I don't love them. And since I don't love them, I don't really care to replay them. Does that make sense? Like Ocarina of Time HD, I would play the hell out of that. But at least one time through. I'd at least play it one time through. But Resident Evil, I'm not like a huge fan of the series. I like the series. I play the series. But it's not one of those games that like, oh no, I need to play the remake. Like, no, I'm good. Play the original. Beat it 4 times or something like that. So I see all the different endings. I don't need to play it again. I'm sorry, effing computer battery died in the middle of an effing stream. I mean, come on, it happens, man. You don't have to swear about it. It's not really going to matter. Like, my computer, if it makes you feel better, my desktop computer that isn't running on battery dies when in the middle of me rendering videos all the time. So that's, like, #1 purchase this year is building a new editing computer. Because, like, my computer is at its end, but I don't know when that's going to happen. It won't happen with the tax return, because the tax return is something we're going to be using to survive off of here for a little while, so... are you going to be watching the AEW wrestling? I don't even know what that is, so that is a no. I don't even watch WWE wrestling. I think the Bucks turning over an easy score at the end of the third. I have a PlayStation 4 Pro, which is great, but it would look incredible on PC. Of course it would, but I mean... thanks for the stream. Got to go take a drive. See you in the next one. Later, Eric. Antetokounmpo. Yeah, that's what I said. Antetokounmpo. So hard to say his name. Just a Greek freak, all right? When did you become friends with 5J? He's a good guy, by the way. Yes, he is a good guy. I met him, I don't know, a year and a half ago. I put up a post on NintendoPrime.net, or maybe it was on Facebook. I can't remember. Looking for people who might be willing to stream on my channel for free in exchange for them getting some exposure for their own channel and just helping me out getting some regular streams going. This is back before I could regularly stream. Now I regularly stream all the time, but back then I couldn't. I was working other jobs and blah, blah, blah. Well, he said he'd come in and he'd stream on weekends. So that's what he did, and he did it for a long time. I don't think he's actually done it now for a while. I don't think we've had a 5J Sunday or a 5J Saturday in over a month. I have to actually check my DMs. I wonder if he actually told me he wasn't going to do it anymore. I don't remember. He still streams all the time, and he restreams on my Twitch channel a lot. Where's let me actually see. Where is 5J here? I haven't actually talked to 5J in person in a while. Yeah, last time he talked to me was back in September when he apologized for not streaming very much, and I'm not sure if he's streamed much since then. So on my channel. But he's got a full-time job. He's got a wife. He's got things going on. So I don't really push him. He was doing it for free. I helped grow his channel. I got him his first 1,000 subs on his YouTube channel. So I kind of got him kick-started. And now he's kind of off on his own thing. I really hope his channel continues to grow. I love my computer. It's a Mac. Cool. Nate, I think it's time to start an E3 fund. Oh, Mark. Mark, you haven't been around, have you? I know you haven't been around. For starters, Mark, thank you for coming to a stream and sticking around for a little bit. We are not doing an E3 fund this year. Let me explain why. It's not that I can afford to go to E3 this year. It's actually the exact opposite. Mark, I don't know if you're aware, I lost my job on January 1st. That job is what enabled me to do YouTube full-time because I could work from home, and I'd only have to work part-time hours, but I would make a full-time wage. And lost that job. So all the money this channel makes, I need more now than ever. So let's say I made an E3 fund. Let's say I made like a $2,500 E3 fund or whatever. And we hit $2,500. I'm going to need that money to survive. I won't be able to use it for E3 because I need all the donations. I need all the super chats. Our donation and super chat revenue, Mark, has tanked. I'm not sure you're aware of that because I know you haven't been around very often. We have Like, I can actually go back on YouTube. We have not had like I think we've had one $100 night in the past like 3 months. Our average take per live stream is less than $10 now. So like, we do not get a lot of super chats and we do not get a lot of donations anymore. So if even tonight, like, we have $17.50, but $5 of that's me. So we have $12.51 tonight. Like, that's actually above my normal for a live stream now. So I don't actually make a lot of money off live streams anymore. So like, let's say I did that and suddenly got all those donations. Well, I need those donations to pay my bills, man. Like, I don't know, like, it kind of sucks. I can't really raise money for this big event in June when I don't have enough money to get by. Like, the channel might be done before June. I said before, I got 3 months to make this thing work. Kind of feels disingenuous to say I got 3 months to make this thing work and then raise money for something that happens after that 3-month window. Because that means that I'm committing to this channel being around all of 2019. And I can't commit to that because we're not at a revenue level that I can commit to that. Our Patreon, I've said this before, our Patreon needs to be at $800 to $1,000 for me to be okay with continuing this channel the rest of the year. Our Patreon's only at $316 or $312 right now. We are way off of getting there. Now, maybe we'll get there by the end of the 3 months, and that's my hope because YouTube revenue is fluctuating like crazy. And that's just the way YouTube is. And we're a small YouTube channel. So basically, if I don't hit that mark on Patreon, that $800 to $1,000 mark on Patreon, in a few months here, that's probably going to be all she wrote. And I'm going to have to go get another full-time job. And then I won't be doing YouTube like at all. You'll be lucky to... You will still get the Patreon videos. That's pretty much it. The daily news videos are going to go away. Prime News is going to go away. The podcast will still happen. It might be different. I might live stream it on Thursdays and not even edit it and just throw up that live stream to the public on Mondays because I'm not going to have time to edit it anymore. You'll still get the op-ed editorial that's paid for right now. So 2 videos a week. Oh, and a monthly game review. So you get 1 monthly game review and then 2 videos a week. That's what's going to happen to the channel if we don't hit that mark by the end of March. End of March, beginning of April, somewhere in there. So that's just the reality I live in. So, like, I don't really want to raise money for an event that happens at a time when I might not be able to do this anymore. Like, it's like, cool, yeah, that event's paid for me. Cool, yeah, well, whatever, who cares? Like, your plane ticket's paid for, your hotel's paid for, your food's paid for, that's great. How about my bills that month? Is that paid for? Going on that trip and not working for a week doesn't pay my bills. So, like, it's just, I understand what you're saying. Like, you only suggest it because you think people will donate to something that they'll get something out of. I understand that. Unfortunately, if I'm in this situation where I have to work another job, I can't just take a week off in the summer. I just can't. I need the money. The whole entire point of me getting that other job and not doing YouTube like hardly at all anymore would be because I need the money. I got a family to support. So until we hit a comfort level with Patreon, I won't be able to really consider anything big like that. Again, this isn't something I like to talk about a lot either. I talked about this at the beginning of the month. I mean, it's just reality. It sucks. It sucks. I love what I do here on YouTube, but it's completely enabled right now by the revenue that it makes and by the fact that I have a tax return coming. And once that tax return dries up, that's all she wrote. Nothing else coming. And my Switch finally died. It's okay. I'll turn on the game on my phone so I can finish watching that the Milwaukee Bucks game here. All right. My daughter is in Wisconsin this weekend for a retreat. She better come back in one piece, Prime. Wisconsin's all right. You'll be all right. Just don't send her to Manitowoc. Manitowoc's actually not that bad, but that whole Stephen Avery thing and all that, just so messed up. That whole thing's messed up. Well, Wisconsin's a pretty peaceful place. I mean, if you go into certain parts of Milwaukee, you want to kind of avoid, but that's true of any big city. So, I'm not really... She'll probably be fine. I mean, there are snowy roads here. I mean, that could be scary. We've gotten some snow the past couple days, but it's all right. People who, like, as long as, like, the person driving them around lives in Wisconsin, it shouldn't be a big deal. If you had an opportunity to go to either San Diego Comic-Con or the New York Comic-Con, would I go? Sure. If I could afford it, I would go. Yep. I'd probably go to the New York Comic-Con just because I wanted to stop by Nintendo New York, and I would like to go to Broadway Go to a Broadway play. I haven't been to a Broadway play since I was like 16. So it's been almost 20 years. So I would love to go. And I'd love to bring my fiance with for that trip too. Granted, I don't have a problem going to San Diego either. I've never actually been to San Diego, so I got no problem going to either one. I just can't afford it. I can't even afford to go to the mall right now. My local mall. That's just life though. I got kiddos and other more important things in life to worry about spending my money on. Zane Parker, have I heard of those fat, unfunny virgins who watch Irate Gamer and think he's funny? I think that's completely insulting. So I'm not even going to dignify that with a response. Maybe make an E3 and food goal. This way you can go to E3 and also afford to eat. The food budget for E3 is included in the E3 funding. Like, that's all included. It's not about E3 and food. It's about going to E3 and not making any money for a week. Do you guys realize, like, when I raised that money for E3 last year, it was awesome. But that also means that if I had another job, I didn't work that job that week. So meaning I didn't get paid for that week. Meaning when I had to pay my bills later that month, I didn't have the money for it. The only reason my bills got paid that month, Mark Greenberg did a $500 donation over the course of like 2 days or whatever in June of last year. That $500 donation, that's how I paid my electric bill. That's how I paid for my electric bill. That's how I paid my internet bill. That's how I paid my garbage bill, was that $500 donation. If it wasn't for Mark Greenberg, that E3 trip, that would have been it. I would have had to quit YouTube back then. But Mark Greenberg's big donation enabled me to keep going. So that's the thing about doing these big trips. It's not about paying for the trip. It's that I'm not actually working and making money for a week. Or 10 days, as it takes for E3. So it's just like, bills don't stop coming because I take a week vacation to, even though it's not a vacation, I bust my butt, but it doesn't matter. I don't make a lot of YouTube money. Like, I just don't make a lot of money on YouTube. You know, that's just reality. The check I get from Patreon right now is almost bigger than the check I get from YouTube. So, that's just the way the world goes. So that's kind of the thing. I don't want to raise money for E3. I get it. I probably could raise the money for E3, I'm sure. Especially if Be Righteous comes through big again. But it's like, but I need money to survive right now. I got to worry about, see, last year I wasn't worried about surviving anything. I knew after E3, plus I had that surgery coming up, that money was going to be tight. And Mark Greenberg saved my butt unknowingly. But, you know, it's just reality. I can't put myself in such a bad financial situation again with my kids. I can't do it. That's why I said I got 3 months to get that Patreon up. That's why I keep telling people, check out our Patreon. Check out patreon.com. Let's keep raising that thing up. It's already jumped like $180 this month. If we can just do that every month, jump it like $200 a month for the next couple of months, we're going to be at that goal in no time, and it'll be awesome. But I don't know if we're going to keep getting more patrons. We're at 51 right now. I don't know if we're going to get to 100 plus or whatever we need to get to $800 plus on Patreon. I don't know. I hope so. I hope that my fan base comes through. It feels like the content I make and what I do daily is worth their patronage, but I can't make people do that. So just like I can't make people super chat and donate. Super chat and donation money is way in the dumps because I can't make people do it. Whether I do shots, whether I work out, whether I do crazy giveaways, doesn't really matter. Like, I can't make people give me money. People are either going to want to support the channel or they don't. So I'm not here to give like a big ultimatum. This is just the reality. I got kids to worry about, man. Once I lost that job, it's like someone took this bottle, cracked it over my head, and is like, "Yeah, here's your reality check. Your main source of revenue's gone. Good luck." Like, I don't know if people understand how fortunate I was to have that job where I could work part-time but make a full-time wage. Crispy Production says, how are you doing? I hope I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. And by the way, I'm not upset, Mark, that you were even suggesting the E3 fund. Like, I would love to go to E3. I think E3 is huge. It really helped grow the channel last year. So it's a big positive for growing the channel. But, like, it's good for the future of the channel, but doesn't necessarily mean it's good for my bills that month. How are you watching the game on Switch? Hulu app. I have Hulu. I have live TV on Hulu. I pay like, I don't know, $35 a month or something for it. And yeah, see, like right now I'm watching on Hulu on my phone. I was letting my phone charge. In fact, I should probably put my Switch up here so it charges. Oh, some people might know, but my Switch is wall mounted. My actual dock is wall mounted right now. All right. There is live basketball on YouTube. There might be. YouTube has a TV streaming service as well you can subscribe to. So yes, there probably is live basketball on YouTube. Can we be friends if, God forbid, you have to work full-time somewhere? If I have to work a full-time job somewhere else, which is just reality of being an adult and having the responsibilities and bills, I mean, I'm not going to see you guys very often. I can tell you right now, there will be hardly any live streams. I'm basically going to do what I committed to on Patreon. So there'll be the podcast, op-ed, editorial, monthly review right now. Those are the 3 things that I'll do based on our Patreon goals. And that's what all people are going to be able to get, because I got to work. I got to spend time with my kids. I got a family. Right now, I'm able to do all 3 from home, but that'll change if I have to get another job. That's just reality. It's just life. And I'm not complaining about it. I want to keep, this is my dream. YouTube is a dream. I say this on my Patreon. YouTube is a dream. Dreams are not guaranteed. Like, this isn't I'm not a guaranteed success story here. Like, everything's very volatile. I'm a small YouTuber. Everything is volatile at this size, especially when you have a family to support. So, I've always been prepared for the realization I might have to quit YouTube to support my family, because that's what comes first. So this is just the reality. Losing that job made this a reality. It made, okay, I got a tax return coming. I'm literally filing it in 3 days. Literally 3 days on Monday, I'm filing my tax return the moment I can file it. Hopefully get that money within a month, and then that's what I'm floating on for, till the end of March, April, etc., and then I'm done. Then I'm done. That's it. That's all I got. If we haven't made it by then we haven't made it. Did GameStop wuss out of the debate? No, he showed up. He was wrong. He admitted he was wrong in the debate, and now he's telling everyone on his channel that that I lost or something, because he's just dumb. He's just trying to rile people up. He's a troll. Don't even worry about him. I wrecked him. Let me see here. Patreon is only for e-beggars. Hey, you want to think I'm an e-beggar? It's my guess. No one has to support me, man. It's all right. If no one supports me on Patreon, that's all right. It's cool. If I'm not worthy of people's support and they don't want to, they don't think my content is worth paying for and thus enabling me to continue to do, that is perfectly fine. I am okay living in the reality that I can't work my dream job. It's fine. It's going to suck, and I'm probably going to cry the day I have to announce that I can't do it anymore, but it's life. What are you going to do? I don't have to worry about it yet for a couple months, about 2.5 months or so. So, let's see here. If you don't mind me asking, what is it that you do for a living outside of YouTube? Absolutely nothing right now. I was doing something else, and I lost that job on January 1st. So right now, YouTube is it. This is my only job. My only job. Would you like me to reenact what the AV Angry Video Game Nerd did when he dropped a TV on his foot in the Atari 5200 video? No, not really. I heard about the Switch price cut, successor rumors being disproven. I'm a bit sad there won't be a price cut. It's not really disproven. They're just being corporate. This is what Nintendo does. This is what every company does. They're not going to tell you about a price cut. They're not going to tell you about a new platform at the time that they're still selling things at that current price and they're still selling the current platform. It doesn't really mean anything. What I'm saying is, I'm literally telling you right now, what Furukawa said today means nothing about this summer, this fall. It means nothing. It's corporate speak. It's what they had to say to please investors. So don't worry about it. There still might be a revision. There still might be a new model. There might not be. There might not be a price cut. They're not going to cut price until sales slow down. I can tell you that. So sales have to slow down for a price cut to happen. I don't know when sales are going to slow down. John Early says, Rich from ReviewTech USA was all gung-ho about YouTube changing its creator content policies. He kept saying YouTube is hard. I think he was a bit jaded. Rich, I don't really want to get, I don't know his financial situation. I have a rough idea of the kind of money he makes on his channel because I know what a 60,000 view video makes on average on YouTube, because I've had videos that do that. So, you know, if he does that and he's got, you know, 2 or 3 of those videos a day, which he doesn't, by the way, he's very inconsistent. That's just, you know, I think he's got anxiety and depression or something going on. I don't know, but he's really inconsistent. So he'll have like 2 or 3 videos for a few days, and then all of a sudden he doesn't make anything for like a week. That's just, he kind of hurts himself, right? Like, so he'll do that and he'll have that good money, but then if he doesn't work for a week, suddenly that good money split over 2 weeks isn't that great. So I know, like, if I was getting the kind of viewership he got, I would be fine. I wouldn't even need Patreon. To be completely honest, I wouldn't need Patreon. Would I keep it for certain ideas I want to do that are more ambitious that I'm not sure will get viewership, like the podcast? Probably, but like I wouldn't need a Patreon on his side. Yet he has a Patreon, he has a wife, and he has 1 kid, and I have 3 kids and a fiance, and like I don't get anywhere. I don't even get like a 16th of the viewership he gets. So I don't know. I don't know what's up with him. I think he likes the Patreon thing. Well, one, I will say he probably had a lot of videos copyright claimed. He would say some controversial crap sometimes. I don't know. I think sometimes he is his own worst enemy on YouTube. But nothing against the guy. I just think he makes things harder for himself on YouTube than it has to be. Edward Norris says, keep up the good work. I'm trying, man. I'm pushing, doing the best I can. Do I have a Mac? No, I do not. Eric Moore from the Nintendo Prime Podcast, he does have a Mac Mini. He like doesn't use it anymore. He used it in college. He doesn't use it anymore though. Let's see here. Do long messages get ignored on my chat box? No, they do not. Why? I read everything as long as it appears and isn't blocked by Google or YouTube. Your content is more than worth paying for. I just can't afford it right now. That's okay, Carl. No pressure, man. I meant, what was that job? I was a social media manager for, well, it was Zelda Informer, but it's not Zelda Informer. It's Zelda Dungeon. I was a social media manager for Zelda Dungeon, and I worked sales and marketing. And I made a lot of money for not having to work very hard. I used to have to work really hard at it years ago, but the money I've been making the last 2 years from it, I didn't have to work very hard for. And I was very fortunate and very lucky to have that job, because that enabled me to put like 90% of my time into YouTube. And that enabled me to grow this channel and get it to where it is. Without that job, I had, reality is I got to make full-time money or I do not survive. And my full-time wage has to be enough for a family of 5. $1,000 on Patreon isn't enough, but I can justify Patreon being around $800 to $1,000 plus my YouTube revenue. That gets me above a minimum wage job. Not much above, but it gets me above a minimum wage job combined with YouTube revenue, and that would be I would be able to justify to my fiance, justify to my kids that I could stick it out for the rest of 2019 to see if by the end of 2019 the Patreon continues to grow and the YouTube revenue continues to grow to get to a point that it's a more livable wage. For our family. Now, yes, my fiance works as well, of course. It's not like she doesn't have a job. She has a job now. She used to not have a job, but she has a job now, but she doesn't make much. She's in the healthcare industry. If you know anything about the healthcare industry, you're paid dog shit. I mean, you work very, very hard to make very, very little. She likes her job, but man, she gets paid pennies for the work that she does. She should be getting so much more money, but it's just not how the world works. The money just doesn't exist. The government pays for a lot of this healthcare stuff, and the money's just not there to pay these people what they need to be paid. But I'm just glad she found a job that she isn't quitting and she enjoys. So, kind of enjoys, I should say. Some days she hates it, but I mean, I think that's true of any job. There's days on YouTube when I'm like dragging my feet because I'm like, just don't have inspiration that day. That just happens. How the F do I make all these great videos? Lots of hard work, lots of experience, lots of research, lots of testing. I'm testing new editing methods all the time, testing new things with my camera all the time. I spend a lot of time working on YouTube, man. I'm putting like 60 hours a weekend. So, most jobs are like that. Yeah, most jobs are like that. And for people like, oh, you don't know, like, I've worked other jobs. I haven't just like always worked at home. Come on now. I used to be a roofer. I used to do roofing. I used to work in a warehouse. I used to be a member of Geek Squad. I used to do a zillion different jobs, none of which I enjoyed. Sounds like you have a good resume. Then you should be finding another job. I feel like in the future you'll be able to come back to YouTube if this is the case. Bucks Bomber. If I find another job and I get used to a certain revenue level, I will probably never come back to YouTube. Because I have a family to support. You can't just come back to YouTube. It's not really how it works. YouTube came at a convenient time in my life when I was between jobs. It's not something I can come back to when you got a family to support. Sure, in 20 years, this channel won't matter in 20 years. If I'm not making videos for 20 years. So, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. I'm a daily YouTuber that makes daily video content. If I stop doing that, my channel dies. That's just how YouTube works. It sucks. It sucks, but it's reality. So, do y'all like physical content media for motion picture films like DVDs and regular Blu-rays? I have not bought a DVD or a Blu-ray in so long. I mean, 4K Blu-rays are really cool on the Xbox One X, but I don't really buy them. Like some people buy them for me, like, you know, for Christmas and stuff. But if you had money to throw away, would you be a retro game collector? If so, what system would you collect for the most? Probably the N64. A lot of fond memories of the N64. I have a lot of fond memories of SNES. SNES is my favorite system of all time. But even imagining starting a SNES game collection is crazy to me. An N64 collection, I think, would be easier to complete than a SNES game collection. That's why I'd probably start with SNES. Or, I'm sorry, SNES. There you go. See, SNES is my favorite system of all time, but I'd probably start with N64. Don't know if I'd ever play them, but I would love to have them. Like, the thing is, I played the games I want. I played a lot of them, but it would be neat to just have that collection to kind of reminisce and look on and have on a wall somewhere and just kind of grab a random game and just talk about it in video. Hey, like, grab this game. Like, dude, like this game. Do you guys remember this game? And then go record some footage for it and talk about it. That would be kind of cool. Like some retro game channels do sometimes. Zane Parker says, "Oh, your videos are so humble. I mean, you should be bragging for how good they are." Nah. I think my videos are dog shit. You want to know why my videos are so humble or why I come across so humble? Because I don't think my videos are very good. I do know that I work very hard on my videos. I do know I spend hours and hours of editing and scripting for some videos, hours of recording, lots of time trying to squeeze things in between watching my kids and dealing with that. Like right now, my kids are sleeping, blah, blah, blah. Like this is a good time for me to live stream, good time to get content done. So I do a lot of time management to make this all work. But it comes across as humble because I don't think my videos are that good. I do think my videos are a hell of a lot better now in 2019 than they were at the beginning of 2018. And I think my videos at the beginning of 2018 were a hell of a lot better than they were at the beginning of 2017. But that being said, just because I think my video content's been getting better doesn't mean I think my videos are good. I think my videos are a representation of my current skill level at creating YouTube videos. It is not my ideal way I want my videos to be. The way I envision them in my head, I am not there yet. But I do enjoy it. I enjoy making the videos. I enjoy talking about Nintendo. I enjoy the editing. I enjoy looking up the news. I enjoy talking to all of you guys. All of this stuff is stuff I really enjoy doing. And I will never brag. I don't know if you'll ever see me brag about how good my videos are or how big my channel is or anything. The only thing you might ever consider a brag would be when I start thanking people for supporting my channel. When I thank our patrons, when I thank our, like some people kind of view when you start thanking people for all that support as you're bragging about all the support you have. I just think it's me saying thank you. I'm trying to be honest, but you know, people that are jaded against you will think anytime you mention that someone gave you money or support your channel on Patreon that you're a shill or whatever. It's like whatever. Think what you want. So that's why my videos probably come across as humble, because I don't actually think they're that good. Which I guess for some people that makes me humble, because it means I think I can always get better. I don't know if I'll ever think my videos are at the point where they have reached that perfect. Like I'll always be trying to make them better and better and better. Prime News is great because I get to experiment with a lot of different editing techniques in Prime News too, and I bring those techniques into other videos when I can. Like when I did the 90s, I did a little 90s flashback earlier today, right? I did a little flashback to Pogs and Hacky Sack and Tiddlywinks earlier this week. Like that's a form of editing I would have never did in a video in 2018. So like I already know I'm getting better, but there's a long ways to go. Beat 'em Up's channel has exploded with subs. Yes, it has. He is doing very well for himself. I'm a retro treater. I played so many retro games I have to to still have fun. Nothing wrong with that. I used to cheat on like those old. Oh man, what were they? What were those little things you could plug your cartridges into and cheat with back in the day? I used to do that a lot on SNES and N64 just for fun. Game Sharks. I think they were called Game Sharks. Oh. It was kind of fun seeing what you could do to the games with those things. If any of your kids has a disability of any sort, you can always sign up for SSI, just saying. I will never sign up for SSI. Unless my kids have a serious disability that means I can't work at all. I have some concerns with one of my children about a mental thing, but I don't really want to get into it. It's really personal, so I don't want to say more than that. So I do have some concerns about one of my children, but we are dealing with that and taking the appropriate measures. I don't think I would ever apply for SSI because of it, though. It's something we are able to manage on our own. It's something that wouldn't prevent me from getting another job somewhere else. So many of my messages missed, and Prime don't even realize. I'm literally reading everything you put up, Retro Cheats. YouTube just isn't letting it through for some reason. And I'm not even seeing them as like hidden messages. Your messages are just not coming through. There is a character limit, by the way. If you're making them too long, there's a character limit in the chat. So I'm still here. I just fell behind, so I was catching up. Nice. Pretty good about reading every message, but he's still human. Yeah. Can we get a Prime bot? Oh, you mean like a bot that comes in the chat? I mean, maybe someday. Game Genie. Game Shark, Action Replay. Yeah, there you go. Game Genie. Yeah. Okay. I'm a small kid. Nice. Game Sharks are just as good as well as Action. Yeah, I used Game Shark. I think was the one I used back in the day. That's why the one popped in my head. But Game Genie, I remember that being one too. An Action Replay. Those are kind of like the three big ones. I love making videos for all the cheats. Depends on what my fans suggest sometimes. Nice. Reddit/retro cheats. I think that's what that means. The R. If you like the N64, you like the N64. That even though it was the first system my parents bought, just for me, that's one of my least favorite systems. Most games haven't aged well, in my honest opinion. That's fine. I mean, SNES is my favorite system of all time, but I have a lot of fond memories of N64 games, and I would love to have a N64 collection. I used to have a massive N64 collection. Before I had to sell it, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, I had a huge N64 collection. It was awesome. I must have had like 100+ games. Man, I loved the N64 back then. Again, not my favorite platform, but... Oh, the Bucks took the lead late. Come on, Bucks, hold on. They're up 99-96. Nice. Good comeback in the fourth quarter because they were down coming into the fourth by like 10 points. Hopefully they can hold on to the lead. Oh, I missed the three. N64 had meh games except for some first-party games. I mean, there's a lot of good. Like Shadowgate 64 was great. That was a third-party game. GoldenEye. I mean, granted, you're rare, blah, 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 but whatever, it was really good. There was a lot of really good third-party games. Some I'm forgetting about. It's been so long since I've even looked at that N64 collection that I don't have anymore. Let me see here. Toy Story 2 was a really good platforming game. I'm sure a lot of you guys never even played that one. It was really good. The World Is Not Enough was a pretty good... It wasn't as good as GoldenEye, but it was pretty good. There was Batman Beyond Return of Joker was pretty good. You have, obviously, Gex 64 was really good. Beetle Adventure Racing was halfway decent. Who Could Fit Glover? Glover was really good. Cruising USA. Let's see here. Rampage. I played a lot of Rampage. I played a lot of NBA Hang Time. Resident Evil 2, by the way, was on the N64. Let me see here. We got Bomberman 64 was on there. Ogre Battle 64. Quest 64. I remember I really enjoyed Quest 64. Granted, I know Quest 64 did not age well, but I really liked it at the time. Harvest Moon 64. Lots of something in 64. Rayman 2 back in the day. A lot of good. Oh, all the NBA Live games and all the Madden games, those were all really good back then. Quarterback Club 98 and 99 was really good as well. Those are NFL games, but man, they're good. Turok, back when Turok was actually good. Mystical Ninja, another great one. Yeah, there's a lot of great third-party games back then. Just it depended on what you're into. I mean, it's just like with any game in any genre and any amount of support. It's all about what you're into. You know, some people are really into this stuff and some people aren't. So, I don't even think it had the best Zelda and Mario for a while, but I know what it's blasphemy. Blasphemy, I know, for a lot of people. Oh yeah, PlayStation had way more games than N64, no doubt, and they had Square Enix games, which were excellent back then. Shiny Ray 01, enjoyed Quest 64 too. Yeah, dude, Quest 64 is great. And the Toy Story game, that's the thing. It was a really tough game, but man, it was fun. It was kind of like Lion King on the SNES. Okay, Lion King on the Super Nintendo was amazing, but it's a tough game. It's a tough game, and that's kind of what Toy Story was like. Lion King for me, that Toy Story 2 game in particular on N64, like tough as hell, but really fun. Like it's a really good platformer, but really hard. Man. It was that's back when movie games were so good. It looked like a joke when I saw it in stores. I was thinking, what are these garbage Polygon games? Before you hate, this is what I saw in stores. I'm sure there's hidden gems I never saw at the time. Yeah, there's a lot of really good games on PlayStation. There really is, but I wasn't a PlayStation guy back then, so. Just did a playthrough of Tonic Trouble on 64. Nice. It's another good one. What about Star Wars games? Oh, Star Wars. Don't even get me started on Star Wars. Rogue Squadron back then on the N64. Pod Racer. Remember Pod Racer? Oh, my gosh. Jeez. Why am I forgetting what it's called? That was like the heyday of Star Wars games. So you have Shadows of the Empire back then was awesome. Battle for Naboo, I think, was one of the worst Star Wars games in the game, but even then, it was even then, like, it was way better than a lot of other games. So we had the Pod Racer game, X-Wing Alliance back then as well. Man, Jedi Knight Dark Force back then. Shadows of the Empire. Oh, who can forget Shadows of the Empire? That's one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. Yeah, it's so good. Aladdin on the SNES was really good too. Yeah. For another movie adaptation. Aladdin was good in general back then. It was really good on SNES. It was really good on Genesis. It was really good on Game Gear, and it was really good on Game Boy. And if you played all the different versions of that Aladdin, all of them were different, but they were all really good. Whatever company was churning out those Aladdin games, they did awesome back in those days. Shadow of the Empire. Yeah, there's so many good games back then. There's not, like, that's not dismissing. There's a lot of good games today. It's just like, nostalgia tripping right now, going back and thinking about all the games I played as a kid, all those games I either owned or rented from a place like Best Buy. Or we had a place that was even closer. Blockbuster. We had a place that was even closer than Blockbuster. We had a place called Celebrity Video. It was even cheaper than Blockbuster. I used to get all my N64 rentals from there. I used to rent like 6 N64 games a week. It was crazy. Use all my allowance money on game rentals. You sold your N64 to GameStop for $200. Nice. I do not still have an N64. Nope. I don't have any of my classic systems anymore. They've all been sold over the years because I needed money. Rugrats for GameCube. Nice. God, the Rugrats theme song will never leave my head. I used to watch a lot of that when I was a kid. Played Lion King on the Genesis as a kid. I just can't wait to be... Oh, dude, that's a tough level. The just can't wait to be king level. Guys, it's a tough level. It's a tough level. But you feel so good when you beat it. It's a very hard level, but it is so good. To be honest, I'm not much of a Rogue Squadron guy. Too many protect objectives. I mean, sure. I guess. I don't know. It didn't bother me, I guess, back then. Girl Man overreacts to Metroid 4 going back to retro. What? You mean Fusion? What was happening right now? Still have nightmares about that level from Lion King? Yeah, dude, that level was hard. But it's a fun level. It's one of my favorite levels in the game because I love the music in that level. It helps that I really like I Just Can't Wait to Be King. And I love the color palette and the animals. I loved all of it. But dude, that level is like hell. It might be harder than any level in Celeste. I mean, that might be blasphemy to say. I haven't played Celeste, but I've seen a lot of playthroughs of Celeste, and I'm sorry, people were picking up some of those stages faster than you could pick up. Just Can't Wait to Be King in The Lion King. That level, I must have died on that level over 1,000 times before I beat it the first time. That is some of the trickiest platforming I think I've ever experienced. It is so hard. But man, it's fun. Especially once you get it. Once you get it, you're like, yes. So it's not impossible. I remember for a long time I thought it was a broken game and an impossible level. But nope. You would just keep getting a little bit further every time. And you start to realize it's not that. It's like platforming perfection. You got to be perfect or you're screwed. And games were not forgiving back then when you weren't perfect. Like today, you cannot be perfect and recover in a lot of games. There's no recovering in that level on Lion King. There is no recovering on that level. You have to nail it perfect or you're done. Your timing has to be perfect or you are done. Have I checked out Payday 2 for Switch? Yes, I have. It is a lot of fun. Let's see here. I'd be happy to be able to play Paper Mario 64. Oh, yeah. We were Paper Mario back then, baby. The music in that game is just movie nostalgic city, yeah. And because it's like all 16-bitted out, because it's not like, you know, it's like the original music but played on like really crappy synth, and it just sounds awesome. It sounds so 1990s. I wonder how Fire Emblem 64 would have gone. Who knows? What's my favorite series not on Switch? My favorite series not on Switch. That's a good question. Probably, I gotta go with Age of Empires or Total War. Those are two PC series. Age of Empires is by Microsoft. It's by a studio that's now closed, but Microsoft still owns it. And then the Total War series is, I think, by Creative Assembly, which is owned by Sega. So yeah, those are two PC series that are probably... Warcraft's up there as well. That's a PC series, too. Really like Warcraft. Only correct answer is F-Zero. Sure. If you're a big F-Zero guy. We just had something happen. Oh, we have a new follower. A couple new followers over on Twitch. So let's check out Twitch chat. What's going on over on Twitch chat? Hey, we have a few people talking on Twitch chat. T-Burk3603 actually subscribed to us over on Twitch. Let me, about 20 minutes ago, let me give you a shot for that sub. Thank you so much for your support, T-Burk. And he said, hey, I don't know how much money streamers get for a Prime sub, but I hope it helps you out. Resident Evil was on N64. You learn something every day, I guess. Yes, you do. Yeah. Resident Evil's been around a long time. Cheers, man. The cut of the Twitch Prime sub works out to $2.50 is what I get from your Twitch Prime sub. But you have to redo it every month. So like when like you get to this day a month from now, you won't be subbed anymore. You have to redo the sub. That's what sucks about Twitch Prime is you have to redo it. It doesn't just automatically recur. But thank you. Hey, it's $2.50 more than I had. Even though Twitch isn't going to pay me out for another year. I finally got a payment from Twitch like 2 weeks ago. And it's the first payment I've had for Twitch in like a year and a half. So it takes a while for me to get paid out from Twitch. I don't get a lot of support on Twitch. So I don't get a lot of bits or a lot of subs over there. I mean, we're a YouTube channel. Is it that big of a surprise? If they released a Paper Mario and 10,000 Year Door as a 2-pack on Switch, you'd go crazy. Haha, F-Zero is not only a name, it's a rating. I love the Cowboys used way too much. Oh boy. Oh boy. So shout out to TWH71 who became a new follower over on the Twitch side of things, as well as twitching_Fox, and then Tburk603 who also who started following but also became a new Twitch Prime sub over there as well. We also had Tyler Lang who subscribed to us on YouTube 40 minutes ago that I missed, and then Michael Fritz as well became a new subscriber during this stream over on YouTube. TWDH71 said, just came over from YouTube to sub here for ya. Nice. You about to hit us with a Twitch Prime sub? Or did you just hit the follow button? Following is like subscribing on YouTube. A sub on Twitch is like hitting that join button and becoming a member on YouTube. That costs money. Or if you have Amazon Prime, it's actually you can actually do it for free. Every month you can do it for free to one person on Twitch. Like my Twitch Prime sub right now is actually on 5J's channel. So I Twitch Prime sub to him this January, trying to get him a payout from Twitch eventually here, because I know he hasn't had his first payout yet. Hit him with a super chat too. Yeah, we haven't had a super chat in a little while. It's been what? An hour. It's been an hour since our last super chat. Yeah, 10,000 year doors. Just 1,000 year doors. Yeah, it is just 1,000 year. I thought it was weird when I read that. I'm like, 10,000. Is that like a sequel I'm not aware of? But whatever. Yeah, 1,000 year door. I'm sure I'm not missing. I think the Bucks won. Yeah, the Bucks won. Nice. They almost won by 10, which is their average. Cool. Well, I'm glad to see the Bucks came back and took care of business. Awesome. I can put my phone back on the charger, get that to 100% here. That's a lot of years. Hit him with a super chat too. Sure, yeah, hit me with a super chat. Here. Let me show you how hard it is. Actually, can I join and become a member of my own channel? I wonder, will it let me do that? Can I become I don't know if I really want to. I mean, there's no point. I can use my own things anyways. I guess there's no point in me becoming a member of my own channel. I can become a patron of myself. I always thought that was funny. Here, let me go to Patreon and become a patron of myself and then pay myself. Here, become a patron. Let me see. I want to do the $100 sponsorship tier. No. That'll push us over the $400 threshold, but I won't actually be making $100 more. But I'll super chat. I'll break the ice on the super chats. No, you cannot Twitch Prime yourself. Let's actually lower that down to $1. I'm not going to go too crazy. I don't have tons of money. I've got like, I don't know, $40 to my name or something. We're not going to go too crazy here, but I'll give myself $1 so I can do another shot. $1 super chat. Plus I get that $1 or like 70 cents of that $1 back in 2 months. Ooh, 2 months from now. Just saving a little money. Spending 30 cents to save a little money for 2 months from now. If you want something more hardcore about, if you want to know something more hardcore about Resident Evil 2, there was a prototype of a game that exists on the Game Boy Advance. That is crazy. Whew. Cheers. Thank you, Nintendo Prime. I appreciate you breaking the ice on it being over an hour since your last donation or super chat. Zane, yeah, I know you have a hidden message. It says, don't you hate it when YouTube screws you over? Don't ever, whether it's YouTube or whether it's an individual person or a channel, don't ever like mock them or make fun of them. But I will say thank you so much for pointing out the fact that like, YouTube just does what it does. What are you gonna do? I mean, they also enable me to make money, so it's kind of a two-way street, you know. He was spamming this, yeah, dude. No, I believe you, Ryan. I got you, Ryan. It's all cool. I just wanted to make sure I read out the initial comment. Yeah, see, because I think he kept spamming it because I missed his comment before. So there you go. I read your comment, even though the recent one got deleted. So you're all good. If you want Nate to read, yeah. If you anytime you ping my name at Nintendo Prime with a space or without a space, it'll always highlight for me. That's why you see people like Matthew Campos. He wanted to make sure I read his comment, so he did at Nintendo Prime, even though it wasn't a question. It's also, if you have a question, that's a great way to get my attention too. I try to read everything, but I don't always do it. But I try so hard. I try so hard. What you gonna do? Man, chat really died down. Is this what happens when I catch up to the chat? It goes super slow. You guys don't have any more questions tonight? Is that going to be it for our stream tonight? Oh, yes! Even though I don't want James Harden to win MVP, I want Giannis to win it. The Rockets just beat the Raptors, which is awesome. They beat them by 2 points. That means the Milwaukee Bucks should be like a game or a game and a half up. Yes, a full game up. Hell to the yeah. And God, the Bucks are almost at a 75% win percentage. It's crazy. The Bucks have never been this good in the history of the franchise. It's awesome. I love it. I like it a lot. What do I think of VR? I am not a big fan. There have been some VR experiences I have tried that were actually pretty decent. But I don't know. Like, when I game, I like to relax. And VR, it's a good workout for some games, I'll say that. VR is just not my cup of tea at the moment. Maybe when it gets to the point that I'm just putting on a pair of glasses like this, and suddenly I'm in VR, great. Right now, bulky headsets that block out the whole world to me, it's just not the kind of thing I really enjoy. But doesn't mean it's bad. I've played some VR games that are all right. But you were in the last stream, nice. Yeah, I can send any super chat thing right now. Got like $5 in my account. Should probably save that. I think even you can't send any because you only got $5. It's all good, man. Chat died down because we're enjoying your singing, Nate. That's what it is. Ba 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 ba. I'm loving it. I don't know who's enjoying that crap. Eric Bledsoe dropped 18 points tonight. Nice. Let's see here. How much did Giannis drop tonight? Well, Brook Lopez dropped only 8 points tonight, so he didn't have a big night. Jeff Green. Ooh, Noah Vonleh had a big night. I had him on the bench. I'm checking my fantasy basketball team. I'm like, oh man, Noah Vonleh was on the bench for the Knicks, and he had a big game tonight. How much did the opponent do here? Chris Middleton. How much did he drop? He's got Chris Middleton on his team. Chris Middleton had 15 points tonight, so he was just okay. He had a lot of guys on his bench. Oh well. Let's see here. I had Giannis on my other team. Oh, I'm dominating this guy. I'm up by almost 300 on him. Hell yeah. Oh, Spencer Dinwiddie didn't play. Dang it. I would have had Jeff Green in instead. Oh well. Knew I should have checked. Giannis had 34 points tonight. Hell yeah. Luka Doncic's on my team. He had 32 tonight. Noah Vonleh, I did have him in, who had 22 points on this team. Wesley Matthews got me a big -3 and a win, though. Ouch. It's all right. I'm dominating him right now. It's awesome. That's awesome. Sweet. Looks like both of my fantasy basketball teams are going to get wins. Not sure if asked before, but do you expect a direct before the end of the month? Or do you think Nintendo will have an announcement during their investor meeting? They'll probably have some minor announcement. It'll be something that kind of flies under the radar. I don't know what it'll be. I think they will have a direct in February. I'm enjoying you singing. Thanks. I used to be a singer. Not a professional one. I was in choirs and stuff. And Nintendo will scramble for a Metroid replacement? Nope. Or they have a weak year for first party next year? Nope. I think a new Mario is coming in 2020. I think a new Zelda game is coming in 2020. We obviously have Bayonetta 3 that I think is coming in 2020. I think they are going to have tons of games for 2020 as well. It's going to be lighter than this year, but the games they will have are going to be a big deal. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. You're on Team Eric and believe the Nintendo Direct will be this week, this upcoming week. All right, yeah, he believes it's going to be dropping like right before the investors meeting. Possible. I mean, the investors meeting's on the 31st, so he was saying either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday it's dropping, so it's possible. It could literally drop the day of the investors meeting. It is entirely possible, so, you know, the crazier things have happened. Some Aleve liquid gels. Splatoon 3 on Switch. Nope. I mean, not on the current Switch. Next generation Switch, absolutely. I think Splatoon is like Smash. It's a once per generation game. I don't think there'll be a Splatoon 3 on current Switch. Any thoughts on the rumored Google console? It's a thing that exists. I don't know what else you want to say. It's like asking me my thoughts on the Mad Box. Like, it's a thing that exists. Until we see it, what are you going to do? You know? Until we know what the specs are, know the cost, like, you know, what games it's going to have, the sport it's going to have. It's a thing that exists. Adrian Adams. Adams? Not sure how you say that with a D. Adames? Adames. Adrian! I love every part of your videos. Keep up the good work. Thanks, man. I appreciate all the compliments you give tonight, Zane. It's always nice to have people compliment your work. Even if you think your work is garbage, if other people don't, and you're enjoying it, then that's really what matters. I do it all for you guys. I enjoy what I make, and I obviously enjoy doing the work, but what's also really enjoyable about it is knowing that you guys are enjoying the work. Even if I don't think it's that great, if you guys enjoy it, that's what really matters. So you guys are the ones that make my work worth doing in the first place. You got to go, Nate? Later, Hardcore Alex. I'm probably going to head out here soon, too. I've been doing this about 2.5 hours, so spend some time with my fiance. She'll be home in like 10 minutes. You are your own worst critic. Yes, I am. I am very harsh on myself. I'm very harsh on myself in general in life, though, so. Probably to a fault, if I'm completely honest. It's Spanish. Adames. I'm American, I'm sorry. Doesn't really mean anything. We don't have an official language in America, but and Spanish already is like half the country. Oh, whatever. What's up, Just Cliff? Welcome. Welcome to the end of the live stream. Literally ending any minute now. Go, Pack, go. Even though the Packers lost. We weren't even in the playoffs. That's how much the Packers suck. T-Burk3603 over on Twitch says, do you think it's worth getting a Switch just for Smash Ultimate? I mean, I would get other games most likely, but 90% of the reason I wanted is Smash. It's up to you. I don't know how big of a fan of Smash you are. I'm not like the biggest Smash fan in the world, so for me, I wouldn't buy it just for Smash. But like, if Smash is your Zelda, then yeah. I already mentioned earlier in the stream, I bought it just to play Zelda on the go. So like, if Smash Bros. Is your Breath of the Wild, then yeah, it's worth it. Of course it is. But I don't know what Smash Bros. Is for you in terms of like where it sits in your favorite franchises and favorite games and all that. It's well documented that Americans butcher any name or words in other languages unless they know the language. This is true. I just butcher everything though. Even if I do, even an English name I'll butcher. So. Love your avatar. Thanks, man. Yeah. I mean, it's the logo, so. I was holding out for the Switch Pro. Will probably cave. Yeah. Story of my life. Ugh. All right. Well, things are kind of slowing down, and I gotta go. I gotta open the garage door for my fiance because I think our garage door opener is broken. I want to thank all you guys for tuning in. I had a lot of fun. Give a shout out to all of our super chats and all this stuff. Nintendo Prime, thank you so much for your $1. Thank you so much, T-Burks3603 for your new Twitch Prime sub today. Jay Senator for your $5 super chat. Eric Wolf for your $3.75 super chat. Clayton Saint CYR for your $1 Canadian super chat. Nintendo Prime, how's it going, my man? Thanks for your $5. I appreciate you giving YouTube, like, you know, an extra $1 so you can make $4 a month from now, 2 months from now. Let's see here. Quantum chimed in, gave us 7X Quantum, gave us $2 super chat earlier. Thank you so much. Eric Bryant got everything started with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much. We also had a new Twitch Prime sub. Or actually, this one wasn't Twitch Prime. This was just a normal Twitch sub from Elizabeth W85. Thank you so much for your support this month of January. Matthew Campos, I will catch you later. And all the rest of you guys, good night. Have a good night or a good morning, wherever you are. I've had a lot of fun. I might be streaming again tomorrow night. I don't know. Don't count on it. I got 2 other videos to work on. Be sure to get some questions in for Prime Answers, by the way, I have a community post up right now that was talking about how we're not going to do Prime News. And at the end of it, I mentioned, hey, get your questions in for Prime Answers. So go to that post and get some questions in for Prime Answers. I will not be recording that tonight. I will be doing all of that work tomorrow. So there's still time to get your questions in for that. If you don't know what Prime Answers is, go to my channel, look up Prime Answers. You'll figure it out. All right, folks. I'll catch you later. Peace out.